Hello there, Assassins, and welcome to episode 40 of Rally the Creed Live. Episode 40, that is actually insane. We're an Assassin's Creed community podcast focusing on content creators within the community. We talk about news coverage and everything else related to the franchise. I firstly want to say a massive thank you to everyone who supported Rally the Creed up to this point. It's been a massive success, and I couldn't have done this without you guys, without Cole and all of our great guests. It's been amazing. Just remember, guys, when you watch this on YouTube or Spotify, about 85% of you aren't subscribed. So please subscribe, please hit that like button, and we would love to see you in comment sections for future episodes. In this week's episode, I'm joined by an amazing content creator and someone who has amassed a massive following on TikTok with over 100,000 followers. And as you can see from the comment section, is loved and respected within the community. So Arav goes this Creed. How are you? Thank you for being here.
It's an honor to have you here today, and I'm welcome. So, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, some of the topics that we're going to touch on today is the different communities across different platforms. It seems to be a massive discussion right now, and it's something I want to get into because it's something that I've noticed once I've branched out of TikTok. So it's something I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Arav's origin stories. We're going to talk about Black Flag Resynced. We're going to talk about Arav's favorite Assassin's Creed game and protagonist, and we're also going to be pitching an Assassin's Creed game. And there is so much more to talk about. But before we get into all of that, how have you been?
I've been doing quite good, actually. Just kind of been chilling. I've recently, got out of college, so I've kind of got been chilling for the past few months. Not looking for a job at the moment, but mainly just kind of been at myself, focusing on content, pushing it out, all that type of stuff. Recently, I've been making content on Instagram and YouTube as well. So just to give myself more, I guess, more exposure on the internet now these days, because I've kind of gatekept myself from only posting on TikTok, mainly just Assassin's Creed. But now these days, I kind of want to explore and kind of test other algorithms somewhere else,
Yeah, I would. So this is something that Cole mentioned to me is when I first started, I was just focusing on TikTok. And then we talked about branching out to YouTube. And then actually, I couldn't suggest this to anyone anymore. If you want to get exposure and you want to meet up with or interact with people at Ubisoft, head over to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing platform. And it's a little bit more professional. So I tend to do my behind the scenes stuff on LinkedIn about purchases I'm doing for Rally the Creed or what have you. And it's really well received. I would say that LinkedIn is your best place to go as another platform, but more of a professional side where you can follow people within Ubisoft that you can then potentially send a message to and link up with, and it's a great way to go.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that professional yet at the moment, so I've kind of stuck to just general emailing and stuff at the moment.
I'm not professional either by any means, but I definitely would suggest, even if you were to just go onto LinkedIn and just do a couple of posts, I would suggest LinkedIn to anyone who wants to do this as a career. I would definitely suggest that. So before we get into this, normally we do a what have you been up to sort of section. So what have you been up to? What projects have you been getting stuck into?
Mainly a lot of reading, actually. Quite recently, I got myself the Assassin's Creed and Forgotten Templar, so I've been catching up on the behind the scenes of the lore. I mean, I can actually prop it up there for a second so you guys can see. Like I've been reading
Oh, nice.
this at the moment. So I like how the art style for Edward on here is like quite. That's
Yeah,
not good
it's.
picture.
I didn't realize it was a comic book. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know as well until like I was looking online for it. So like, I think this one's based when he's in China and stuff. So he's going for like an Easter artifact. So
Oh, nice.
that's a cool one. But like, mainly just been reading, keeping myself occupied with other things and just a lot of personal stuff I've got to clear up like behind the scenes. You know.
Oh, nice. So Hidden Hype says that he's currently reading Renaissance, which is a great book, by the way. If anyone hasn't read it, it's a brilliant one. But as I'm not a massive Black Flag fan, I've looked at the Forgotten Temple, but I've never ordered it. But I might have to now.
Yeah, there's two parts to it actually. So I'm gonna finish this one off and then get the other part finished off as well. But like, yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. You know, just keeping myself busy.
Oh, nice. So, do you? It's not on the questions, but do you think that they should add anything from the Forgotten Temple stuff to Black Flag to give us more content?
I mean, probably. You know, this whole book could work really well as a DLC
Yeah.
for a game. That's the only thing I could probably say. But then I don't know how it would make a lot of sense because I kind of want this Black Flag racing to be successful. And if it's successful, then they can add on DLC. Because this is taking place in a different like time period and stuff. So this is like, I think 1725 when he's in China, I believe. 1723, 1725, I don't really remember. So like, yeah, a DLC would probably work perfectly for this type of game, you know?
Yeah. So Cole's just asked if it's canon, and
Yes.
it is. So I've just looked it up as we're talking. So Assassin's Creed Forgotten Temple is considered part of the official Assassin's Creed canon. So it could potentially it could be like a DLC that comes out a little bit later, kind of like Valley of Memory for Mirage. That could come out a little bit later.
I mean, seeing how Valley of Mirage did quite well, especially for being a free DLC. I'm not saying if Resync makes this a free DLC, I'm not sure. But I'm just saying, like, these DLCs that Ubisoft have been making are actually quite good, quite recently.
So, like, I think it's the writing for Valley of Memory is some of the best writing that we've had in Assassin's Creed for a very long time. It was emotional, it was weighted, it was responsive, and I definitely think it was one of the best written things. So I would like to see the writing that they take into the DLCs and put it into the actual games, because Mirage's writing wasn't perfect and it wasn't bad either, but if they had had the same emotional weight in them, it might have been slightly different.
Yeah, and then again, like, I feel like Assassin's Creed has lacked writing, especially in the past like 10 years. You know, there's not like a lot of characters I've connected to, but not really as emotionally. You know, like characters like, I don't know, like, trying to think, like some characters like Eivor, I couldn't really connect emotionally. Like Nalway, I couldn't connect emotionally. It's like because their writing is not as good. And that's the issue. And like, I'm not saying they're not bad characters. None of these characters in Assassin's Creed are bad, but they do lack some type of things that the original games had, which was emotions. And I feel like with the Mirage DLC we got, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise we had, because it kind of gave us what we wanted for the longest time.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't perfect, it was like still like heading in the right direction and what we wanted.
Yeah. So for me, I really like Norway, but I can also sit here and go, while I love Norway, and I love Shadows, it is a flawed game and it is a flawed system. And you're 100% right. She had a revenge story like Ezio's, but it doesn't have the same emotional weight to it. Like Ezio, when he kills Umberto, like his first kill, there's so much, like, you feel that joy with him when he carries out that kill. Like the thing that he's feeling, you feel it with him. Whereas with Norway, I couldn't tell you who the first person is that she kills, and I couldn't tell you how I felt when it happened either. So I definitely agree that the story is lacking in places.
Yeah. But everything else, like the setting of Japan's really good, like the combat system's good, the gear's good.
Yeah.
But it's mainly like, because Assassin's Creed has shifted now, it's not really a story-based game, it's more like an open-world experience. They need to really focus on the story of Assassin's Creed, because it's kind of lost its kind of identity of like storytelling, because nobody really plays Assassin's Creed for storytelling anymore. That was like 10, 15 years ago. People mainly just care about it because it's open world and it has a great like historical setting.
Do you think that Mirage's slightly more linear approach helped them in any way, or do you think that it hindered them? Because I actually quite like Mirage's mission structure. How do you feel about that? After we've had so many open world RPG style games where you can just kill anybody at any random time, how do you feel that Mirage did in this open world era of Assassin's Creed?
Because we've been with RPGs for the longest time, because the failure of Syndicate on how glitchy that game was and how people just didn't like it and people were getting tired of these type of games. We had, Origins, which was, good, but then they went up a notch in every RPG game, they added more and more to it, like you got Origins that had basic RPG stuff, basic missions, you had to go to different places and stuff to level up and grind. Odyssey took that a big further, where you had the whole of Greece and do other missions as well, but also kind of had like an Assassin's Creed Black Flag thing, but also had like a naval type of combat system as well, so you can fight enemies on water and stuff. And then it got to there, and then you get Valhalla. Valhalla is probably the most bloated Assassin's Creed game that I have ever played. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I feel like they've overdone it with Valhalla. Like, there's just too much in Valhalla. Like, you've got literally the whole of south of England, from like the top to the bottom, and it's just way too much. Not in a bad way, but it gets to a point where it's just overwhelming, and it's just like, especially for like a completionist who just wants to just get everything collected and just complete the game on time, that's fine. But that game takes hours and hours, and it kind of shifts away from the story. Yes, it's still an Assassin's Creed game, but it doesn't play like an Assassin's Creed. You're more like having a Viking experience. It's not like, and it doesn't help that Eivor's story is not as strong. It's more hidden in like the Wikipedia, more in like I don't know if she ever had a book. Don't correct me. I'm not sure, but you get what I mean. It's more in DLC or somewhere else. It's not in the main game, and the main game is really bloated. But they don't really focus on Eivor's character a lot.
So I would agree. My biggest complaint about Valhalla was that it is so big that it takes so long for you to get anywhere, and then that momentum that you have is kind of taken away. There's so many points in Valhalla where you go to a town, you get on a horse, you go with Ragnar's sons, and you go to another town on horseback, and you can't fast travel, you can't skip it, but they're talking the entire time, and it's the most boringest thing ever. And it really does suffer from bloat, because you're just like, oh my god, not this again or this again. And like Cole said in the comments, like the unconnected arcs between everything as well, they just don't make any sense.
And it doesn't help that like the story of Valhalla, it's not a bad story, but for a bloated game like that, you would at least have the story to be a bit more awarding, like I get it, Bassam came back to life, he's alive and stuff, That's cool, you know. But is it really worth after like 90 to like 150 hours you put into the game for this type of passable ending? You know, think
Yeah,
about like
I
other
agree.
big games like Red Dead Redemption. Think about how that game had like a satisfying ending for such a long game.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Valhalla just has just that. It's not bad, but I felt like they could do a bit more. And it's not good that we've not heard of Bassam since Valhalla in the modern day for like 5 years. We've got, you know, a Bassam, you know, his own game, you know, Mirage, but in the
Yeah.
modern day, we're kind of just stuck there with Bassam, nothing else.
I actually do have a theory about Basim,
Hmm.
and it's in. So my theory is that Basim is in the Animus now.
Is he?
So this is my theory. So my
Alright.
theory is that Basim is in the Animus, and you know when we do the Animus sections with like the eagle and the guide and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is Basim's team on the outside of the Animus talking to Basim inside,
Hmm.
and they're trying to sort out there's a virus, or there's because of his long DNA that it's
Yeah.
messing with the Animus. That's why that's why we can control two characters that are completely unrelated with Narwe and Yasuke, because Basim's DNA is messing with the Animus, and there is a virus or a glitch inside the Animus. That's why we keep having these little Animus sections. And the Eagle and the Guide are people on the outside trying to fix the Animus while Basim's stuck in it. That's my theory.
It's kind of like with like Assassin's Creed Rogue, you know, with like the glitchy Animus as well.
Yeah. So that's my theory.
Hmm.
I could be completely wrong. I also had a theory that Yasuke was a Templar spy, but that didn't turn out so well. So who knows? Like anything is possible. I do actually have my first question for you, and that is why Assassin's Creed? We've never asked this type of question before, but what is it about Assassin's Creed that drew you in? You're only what 18, I think you are.
18, yeah.
Yeah. So you're only 18, so you're as old as Assassin's Creed. So you would have joined much later into the series than the rest of us.
Yeah.
So what is it about Assassin's Creed as a young player that drew you in so much?
I guess because, well, I've been playing like Assassin's Creed for like the longest time since I was little. On PlayStation 3, I have the original, you know, Assassin's Creed. So
Yeah,
when I was little, I used to play that, and I was so interested in that because I think it was because of the historical setting
yeah,
mixed with the fantasy world as well. And like with all these like type of, you know, historical characters being implemented into this game, also mixing this type of fantasy of like Templars and assassins and stuff, all this type of real world conflict but put into a game, you know?
yeah,
And I think Assassin's Creed, the first one, did it perfectly with all these type of characters you're in, and like, you know, learning about Altair's character, how he has to rank up again, how you know there's repercussions for his actions, how you know he's sent to do all these you know missions, and then you because it's a very repetitive game, you have to do it over and over again, but you kind of get used to it because you're an assassin. It's
yeah,
like it's quite weird because the first Assassin's Creed game is really quite a weird game to play because it's not really an emotional game, but it's more just like a very focused Assassin's Creed game, and it was just kind of drew me in because I kind of like that type of weird stuff, like this type of weird simulation type thing where you're kind of trapped in the box and you're forced to do something over and over again until the task is completed.
yeah. So
Obviously, it's different in AC2, but like you know what I mean. That's what
yeah,
drew
so
me in first.
I think AC1 is a weird game, especially when especially when you're in like Jerusalem or something, and like it's it's like there's areas closed off because Altair hasn't gone to those bits in the memory yet. So it is a very weird game. But it's great. I love speaking. So you're our second youngest guest that we've had on.
Second youngest.
Yes, we had a 17-year-old last week. We've got an 18-year-old this week. So I am feeling particularly old in the last 2 weeks. But it's good to see that this game that we all love and we all have fond memories of, that you guys wouldn't remember releasing the first games, but somehow these games have drew you in and have become such an important part of your life. And I think that's really good. And I think that speaks to how good an Assassin's Creed actually is it's not necessarily about having the best gameplay or the best story or whatever it might be, but everyone remembers where they were playing Assassin's Creed or doing this, or do you know what I mean? And I think that's really special.
Yeah. It's like, it's also crazy that I'm 18 years old. Yeah, my following is quite big on this Assassin's Creed thing on TikTok, which I'm not expected to get, you know? I guess, like, having type of that, it's like I have a responsibility for this community. It's like I have a voice. So, like, people want my opinions. They want, like, oh, what game should I get? Or, like, oh, who do you think is the best, you know, character and stuff. Like, it's like an honor, you know? Because I feel older than 18. Like, I feel like I'm like 20 or 30 because, like, there's people in this community, like, I talk to and I'm shocked about their age. Like, I was talking to some person, not going to name the creator, but he said he was in, like, his late 30s. And I was like, what? I'm only 18 and, like, you have, like, such a passion for this community, like what I do. And it kind of made me realize it's not about the age, about liking it. It's about what draws you in, you know?
Kip. Okay, so I am actually 38 this year. So I am very old. I remember Assassin's Creed releasing.
38.
I love the franchise, and for me, it's something I grew up playing. But it's great to see a young creator such as yourself that has a passion for this game and has amassed a following. Not necessarily easily, but you've amassed the followings so well, and you are so respected by the community around you that that is fantastic to see, and that's what we all strive to do. And that's fantastic. You should be proud of that achievement alone. I wanted to know what your, on the back of that, I wanted to know what your content journey has been like. Has it always been Assassin's Creed, or have you dabbled in other games, other franchises, and if you have, what is it that you decided Assassin's Creed is the content for me?
So this is not my only this is my Assassin's Creed account, but a long time ago I used to have like a Call of Duty account. I used to have a Red Dead Redemption account. Like, I was really good on Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty, but I think the reason was that I wasn't satisfied with the content I was making on there, and I just think like I was not happy with the type of following I was getting. So I was like, you know what? I decided to, get rid of those accounts and start fresh. So when I was probably like 15, turning 16, I made my first Assassin's Creed account, which I believe was this one now. It's 3 years old. And I think my first ever video on Assassin's Creed was about Haytham and his dad transitioning to Connor killing, Haytham. That was my first ever video, a cutscene video. That's what I always use. That's what I always dabble in, mainly cutscene videos and stuff. But like making that video and seeing the success I got on that, I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, because I thought, people don't really, back in 2023, you didn't really hear people talk about Assassin's Creed on TikTok. It's either they talked about it because it was controversial, or they
Yeah.
just missed the old type of games. But I decided to just make that one video because at the time I hadn't played Assassin's Creed for like the longest time. Because in October 2022, I went back and played Black Flag after the longest time ever, and I enjoyed it. And I was like, I think I'm going to make content on it. So that's what I did. So I made like little videos about, this was like October to like March. When I, got that video that did really well, I was like, I think I'll just make more of these types of videos because I'm always going to think, I'm going to run out of ideas. Why not just try and test it, test the algorithm, see how it does. But surprisingly, all these videos I they did pretty well. So like at the start, I mainly focused on the Kenway trilogy, like Rogue, AC3, and Black Flag. Yeah. I was surprised that at the time people never talked about Rogue and stuff. So I started posting more about Rogue and different types of things about Rogue, like the story, the characters, the moments, the characters. And it blew up. It did really well because I took something and made it work.
Yeah.
But in my own way, So like, and it just went off like that. And then, I just continued posting more about like all the Assassin's Creed stuff. I did evolutions of parkour, evolutions of like combat, basically anything about Assassin's Creed, cutscenes, missions, different types of missions, different types of characters, favorite side characters, basically just general stuff you will just find on YouTube, and I'll just make it into my own, That's what I kind of did. And like, I got inspiration by like people like on the YouTube side, because I saw Assassin's Creed doing quite well on YouTube. I was like, these guys inspire me, so I want to do what they do, but do it on YouTube. Sorry, on TikTok. So that's what I did. I didn't take their ideas, but I got inspired by them. Yeah. I was like, if they can create content, long term on YouTube, I can make short form videos like that. So that's what I did. Yeah. And TikTok's really good with that because with these shorter videos, I could easily push out content much more easier. And I just went off like that. And then over time, I amassed quite a big following. Yeah. Like, I did not expect to get this big. And because, like, there were times where I was like, this is not real, bro. Like, how can someone like me have this type of big following? Because, believe it or not, I believe I'm the most followed Assassin's Creed content creator in the UK currently. That's what I believe at the moment. Because I don't think there's anyone else.
I think you might be.
I'm not saying I hate saying it like that because it sounds like I have an ego or something. I promise you, I do not have an ego. But like all the research I've done, maybe I'm definitely in like the top 5 biggest ones.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah, because there's obviously massive ones. Like you got Brazil, you got the Russian guy, you got of course Ubisoft companies as well. But as a content creator alone, I believe I'm quite one of the high rankest ones, probably the number one content creator for Assassin's Creed in the UK for TikTok. That's what I believe.
That's insane, and the fact that, like Cole's just said, the fact that you're not getting any opportunities either, is shocking because you definitely need to build some bridges with Ubisoft, I think. And I think it would be a great... Cole says, where in the UK are you?
Leicestershire.
Oh, okay. That's actually not too far from me, that isn't. So, yeah.
Which county do you live?
So, I live in Warwickshire.
Warwickshire?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so, but like I think the problem is like if I actually want to do these collabs with you, so I have to travel to like somewhere like London or somewhere like to their studios and stuff. So like, and I don't have a car yet, so it's going to be like a long way to go. But like, because I've seen other creators like Ubisoft UK, I think they do acknowledge I exist, but they have not really reached out to me because I know they do follow people like AC Johnny and Dallas. Yeah. But I think the problem is with me and their content is because I'm quite of a neutral person when it comes to this community. Like my opinions are really just personal preferences, but it's that because they do more talking. Like they're more like, putting themselves out there, sharing their own opinions and stuff. For me, I'm quite a safe guy, quite a neutral guy. I've had my opinions before, but most people just say I have cold takes. Like they're just like, oh, there's a normal takes, because I don't want to offend anyone at the end of the day. I'm just trying to just be nice to everyone, But like, hopefully one day that Ubisoft sees my work and stuff. It's also maybe because like I mainly focus on like the nostalgia content. Like I focus on like the original Assassin's Creed, not really like the new RPG games. That's maybe one of the factors,
I think Ubisoft have a very Ubisoft have a very like it doesn't matter what you like or you don't like. I don't like Black Flag, and I have spoken to some of our people that we talk to at Ubisoft, and they're like, it's really good to hear that people don't like stuff or they do like stuff, because the people that like, let's say, Shadows, for instance, they'll give you a reason why they like it.
Yeah.
And they'll want to hear that, like the combat, the stealth. But they'll also want to hear why you don't like it. So if you don't like it for the storytelling or for the setting or whatever, they'll want to hear what it is about it that you don't like.
Yeah.
Because that's how we learn and that's how we grow. But like Cole just said that, so Cole said that it could be that your content, from what he's seen, is lacking your face or a like, we don't see you very often.
Yeah.
And then
is it because like I'm quite anonymous,
Yeah. And then Mr. Alpha 444, hello by the way, Mr. Stealth, says content creators who are mainly on TikTok for gaming have more trouble connecting. Which is why I suggested LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a great place to go. Before I got onto LinkedIn, I didn't know anybody, and now that I'm on LinkedIn, I follow so many. I've even had conversations with Darby. I've even so LinkedIn is a great place to be, because you can get noticed on LinkedIn. It's amazing.
Is it because like you can add your socials to it, like TikTok, Instagram?
Yeah,
YouTube?
so on my LinkedIn, I've added the ones who came before. I've added all the articles I've written. I've added when I've done behind the scenes stuff for Rally the Creed, I've posted that on there. I've talked about equipment I've been buying or whatever it might be. And you actually get to speak to people and be like, so we've had guests on here. We had Hijabi Who on here, who was a cosplayer for Assassin's Creed. And I actually messaged her on LinkedIn, and now I follow her on other socials, and I got to meet her and all these different things because of LinkedIn. So I would definitely suggest LinkedIn, even if it's just a behind the scenes sort of thing that you can post. It would definitely get out there for sure.
Yeah, I might try LinkedIn actually, but like I think because because I've basically been doing this for fun, like I didn't expect like all of this to happen like in this type of moment, but I'm grateful, I'm blessed that I have like got to a place where everyone respects me and stuff,
Yeah, that's good to see. It really is.
It's like because like people think like about me that I'm quite like different to people, but like at the end of the day, it's like I communicate differently to people I meet. So like if I was talking to Ubisoft or something, obviously I have to act very mature and very like because if I want to get myself out there, I think the problem is because like I said, I'm anonymous. Like people don't really know me as well. I mean, I get that, but like I guess it's just my privacy as well, because I feel like if I have like too much, my anxiety will just get crazy,
Oh, mate. So when I went to London. That was my first gaming event ever. And I was going and I was representing Rally of the Creed and the ones who came before. And it was really difficult. I'm quite an anxious person anyway. It might not seem like it, but behind a camera, I'm completely different. And I had multiple people come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're the guy from Rally of the Creed." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is insane." And then everyone's like, "Oh, does anyone want to do some social media stuff?" And I'm like, "I really don't." And everyone's like, "Oh, James can do it. James is really good at it. James can do it." And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Okay." And then they posted on their socials my little snippet of a question. I was like, "This is amazing. This is actually fantastic. This is great." But yeah, if I'm not behind a camera or I don't have a camera in front of me, I get very very anxious and very like I get stuck in my own mind about stuff. So I could definitely feel you on that one. I also wanted to ask, do your family know what you do on TikTok? And if they do, are they supportive of your content and what you do?
Yeah, they're quite supportive, like, they like that I'm, enjoying myself, posting what I like, and they're very supportive about it. Sometimes they ask questions about, oh, you should always get in contact with Ubisoft, that would be nice. And like, I don't know how to contact you. I mean, I've sent them messages on TikTok, I've emailed them, but that's the best I've done at the moment. But like, at the moment, everyone in my family is, respected about it, but they feel like I can do more with it,
Yeah. Also, are you part of the Ubisoft Creative Program?
Yes.
You are. Okay. So even that, so with that, you should be able to speak to, I'm sure you have someone that you talk to and they'll be able to help you out for sure.
I've not checked that in a year, to be honest. I've been quite busy. But
also I wanted to say there was a comment earlier that said there are so many other content creators that gatekeep these things because they don't want competition. And the thing is, the moment we all start viewing each other as competition, I think that's when we start having a problem. We're not competing with each other. We are here to help each other and to grow together. And that's something I want to do. There's been so many people that have helped me on my journey from my Call of Duty days to my Destiny days to this now, that I want to give back and I want to help as many people as I possibly can. So if there's anything you need from me or us, let me know and I'll see what we can do for you.
I'm just a bit nervous talking to people, especially in DMs, because how like I can say a lot, but I kind of just say a little bit. Since you asked me to join the podcast, I was quite like, oh wow, this is some type of serious stuff, and like, yeah. And like, you seem like type of like a serious guy, and like, I want to be very respectful in my ways of talking, even though I'm quite anxious with texting and stuff.
Don't. I can tell you now, I posted a video today of me running on some beams, shouting parkour because I thought I'd be funny. I am not serious in any way, shape, or form. I just try to be myself, so don't worry about this. And my partner, who has just commented and said, don't let this facade fool any of you, that I'm a massive kid when it comes to anything. So yeah, this is going to be great. So don't worry about that. I want to know, I think we all know, but I want to know, what is your favorite Assassin's Creed game? Who is your favorite Assassin's Creed protagonist and why? I wonder.
I wonder who's my
I
favorite
wonder.
protagonist. What's my favorite game is? I wonder. Such a difficult question, isn't
It's
it?
a tough question, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So my favorite character, obviously, Edward Kenway. He's my profile. Of course, my favorite game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But why? Why do I like Edward? Why do I like Assassin's Creed? Why? Well, I think the reason why I like Edward as a character is because he's such a unique character. He doesn't start off as an assassin. He starts off as a pirate who's very greedy. He wants money. His wife left him because of his greed, and he's been to Nassau. He's trying to become a pirate and stuff. He's in Havana trying to get money out of people. And then he bumps into Walpole. Duncan in the start of the game. He's like, he has some business and it involves money. So I just take the guy's clothes and just run off to Havana. Oh look, I found Steve Bonner. He's my best friend now. I'm going to use him for money. And then he doesn't know that Edward's between Templar and Assassin's conflict, because at the end of the day, he just wants money. But then, later on, he meets fellow pirates. One pirate, sticks out of him, James. Nothing suspicious about James, but James starts telling Edward about these assassins and stuff, about Eagle Vision and all this type of stuff, and Edward's quite interested. Of course he's still interested in the money because he's a pirate, because he still wants at the end of the day he wants to go back and get his wife back, because his wife left him because he was too greedy. And he keeps telling it to all of his friends like Ben Horner, going Blackbeard, that he just wants to settle down, get his wife back and move back to England. And because at the time, the setting Pirate Republic of Nassau, all these pirates cared about was money. But Edward, cared about money, but also cared about getting his wife back, because he wanted to make sure that he was settled with her. That's why he kind of left England to go to the West Indies, because he needed money, because he couldn't live in a poverty-stricken life where he would just get not a good wage, not make a lot of money, and then he would just end up dying with his wife, and he just didn't want that. And that's why Edward did what he did. Yes, he's a greedy pirate, but then later on, people start dying. Edward starts losing people because of his actions, He lost Blackbeard, he lost, Steed, he lost Mary, he lost a lot of people, And the Pirate Republic was failing on him. Nothing was working for him. But then he remembered what Mary told him about the assassins. Adewale is one of his best supporting characters as well, who helps Edward to grow. Because he's always with him. Because he helped Edward out of that Spanish fleet thing in 1715. So them two are buddies. So they work together. But then Edward starts realizing that his actions are not good. He doesn't want to be greedy anymore. He wants to change. So he goes back a couple of years later and he meets Antabai. I think that's his name. I think Mexico. And he has discussions with the assassins. He wants to learn about the assassins. He wants to change, his story is more like a redemption arc, His story is about redemption, about a man who changes, And I think it's such a realistic adaptation. And I think people complain that, it's not really an Assassin's Creed game because, it doesn't have the oath stuff. It's not really focused on him being an assassin. The only reason why they didn't focus on him being a straightaway assassin but still having assassin's gear is because you're still playing like an assassin but you're also a pirate. That's why. So it's different. Because people had complaints in AC3 that, you're playing as a Templar, we want to play as an assassin. So they did that, but they had it with a twist. Where you're an assassin, but you're a pirate, so you're a pirate assassin. But Edward still learns about, the hidden blades. He still fights like an assassin. He still does, tailing missions and social stuff. So he acts like a pirate, but still plays as an assassin. With, how he's assassinating people, he's going after people, So it's quite unique for him. So he's a very unique protagonist because I feel like his story is very realistic. It's very unique to other protagonists because it's yes, it's a pirate story, but it's also linked into Assassin's Creed because he learns to become an assassin. He changes because it's mainly a redemption arc for Edward, how he changes. I've said changes a lot, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get. And for anyone who, first of all, that is possibly the most passionate I've ever seen anyone talk about an Assassin's Creed game ever, other than when I talk about AC2. That was absolutely fantastic, and
Yeah.
I appreciate the love that you have for Black Flag. What I will say is that I view Black Flag very differently for quite a lot of for quite a lot of reasons, and it's not Edward,
So
because
Edward.
deep down, Edward is a unique character. He's very
He
different,
is.
and for me, he's not the problem with Black Flag. He is part of the problem, but he's not necessarily the problem. My problem for Black Flag is that when I was younger and I was waiting for Black Flag to release, I thought, like many people did with Shadows, this is Pirates, this is Assassin's Creed, this is ships, this is loot, this is all the things that I'm looking forward to. I love Pirates, I love Assassin's Creed. This is a slam dunk. This is the easiest thing that they could do. And then I waited. I saw trailers for it. I saw announcements about it, and I was like, "This game's going to be fantastic. This game's going to be great." I loaded it up, and it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I expected, and for the longest time, I have resentment for this game for this particular reason, and this game, for me, is where Assassin's Creed starts to fall off. It has like one of the weakest modern days. I don't like the modern day at all.
Yeah.
I don't like naval combat. I don't think it belongs in an Assassin's Creed game, even though it is a pirate game, and I was very much looking forward to it. Once I got down to it and I played it, I didn't like that element. I didn't like how it played. It felt more aggressive. So with AC1, the Ezio trilogy, it felt like you were being more methodical with your movements, how you were behaving. When it comes to combat, it felt very methodical. Whereas with Black Flag, I'm a pirate. I don't need to be methodical. I don't need to be thinking about my next move. You don't care. And for me, it felt like I was playing a completely different game. And that's one of the reasons I don't like Black Flag. Now, that being said, I also feel like now, especially with the RPG games, is that for all the things that people don't like about the RPG games, they're in Black Flag. And if you ask these people who don't like the RPG games, they love Black Flag. So a protagonist who isn't an assassin, an open world map that's too big, there's not a lot you can do. And recently with Shadows, one of the biggest complaints with Shadows is that you can't climb everywhere in Shadows. Like, not everywhere is climbable, not everywhere is explorable. Okay. And then when you talk about Black Flag, like I have recently, Black Flag's map is the second largest map that we've had in the franchise.
Yeah.
The first comments I always get on those sort of videos are, well, you can't explore all of the map, so it doesn't count. But you're slating Shadows for not having an entire map that is explorable, but you're allowing Black Flag a freedom because you like that game. You like the fact that it's got pirates or whatever. And it's something that was mentioned earlier on before you joined, is that it was people who love Black Flag generally are, it's a pirate game. It's a great pirate game. And it's not necessarily that it's a great Assassin's Creed game. And that's my problem with it. It's not just an annoyance with it. It's a deeper thing for me. I remember being hyped for the game coming out, and it just never lived up to that hype that I had for it. And there's a lot of comments here. So what's my favorite Assassin's Creed game? My favorite Assassin's Creed game is AC2.
Wow.
And it's just preferences. And I understand that it's just preferences, but my thing is that all Assassin's Creed games should be seen and judged on the same level. So you can't say that the RPG games maps are too big because Black Flag's map's too big.
I mean, in general, all Assassin's Creed maps were really big. Like, you have to travel to so many different locations. Like, if I remember, AC1's map was quite huge. Like, you went to 3 different locations as well. So, like, it was always a big area.
I think each map on AC1, it is like they're relatively small. So Jerusalem is just Jerusalem and like the lead up to it. So it's like 2 kilometers squared or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but this is the thing with all Assassin's Creed games, you always have to travel at least a distance to get to missions, you know? Because like Assassin's Creed 1 was always quite repetitive, but I remember at least spending at least 20 minutes or at least an hour in AC1 or AC2 just getting to a different location sometimes because the game is so old, sometimes you get lost where you're at. And because I play AC1 on a PC, my control keybinds are not as like not as good on like my controller thing, so I get lost playing these old games though. And it's not good that like the mechanics are old as well, so you have to kind of get used to be playing it like you're in like 2007, 2009. But like Assassin's Creed always had big maps. It's just with these RPGs and Black Flag, they expanded on it. They made it more bigger, like more open world, where mainly it was just a big map, but the city was just smaller. You get what I mean? Like Jerusalem, Acre, I forgot the other third one, but like, you see what I mean? It looked big, but when you kind of get in there, it was like, wow, it's quite small, isn't it? But then slowly, they kind of made these maps bigger and bigger. And in Assassin's Creed, you know, they added onto it more. And like, I think Valhalla has the biggest map currently in Assassin's Creed. It's the biggest one.
It's actually Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, with 254 kilometers squared, I believe, and then it's Black Flags with
So like these games have always been quite big. It's just like they've just expanded on it, you know. And what you were saying about like the reason you don't like Black Flag is because of naval combat and you being a bit disappointed with the modern day, and I completely agree. The modern day of Black Flag was horrendous. I'm not sugarcoating it, but since we came off of Desmond, my voice cracked because I said Desmond. When we came off of Desmond, you'd be like, okay, what are they going to do next? Why am I in a simulation with a little iPad walking around Abstergo doing nothing? And like, I liked how they showed what happened to Desmond, like they did an autopsy on him. That was really creepy stuff. I made a video on that. But like, I was like, this is disappointing. And like, I think the issue with Black Flag is that they would take you out of important, you know, when you were getting into the game, and then they'll suddenly just take you out of it and be like, why are you doing this? Why do I have to go around an iPad and start hacking around stuff? And like, that's what kind of ruined it for some type of people. Kind of ruined it for me for some time, you know, because I would just take you out randomly and do random stuff. And I just didn't like how it kind of led to nothing. Yes, you had like the Sage, you know, thing where the guy came and tried to kill you and stuff, but that was it. But then after that, it was just like this modern day was quite, you know, pointless. And it didn't had anything. It had no Desmond. It had the two characters were basically there to help you, but not as supported characters like they were with Desmond, because they were kind of held hostage by like Abstergo. The guy was basically serving stuff while the girl was just like, just do this now and again, you know? Like, come on. Like, these were really good characters in like Rebecca and Sean, really good characters in like Ezio collection, Altair, but like they were just segregated to that. Like that's disrespectful to these characters. That's not good. That's the only issue I had with the modern day, was like they treat these characters just so poorly.
I always thought, and with hindsight now, we can possibly killing Desmond was the wrong choice.
It was.
It was because where do you go after that? And I've always said that the reason that people don't like Layla is because she's the first named protagonist after Desmond.
Yeah. But I guess, like, maybe because Layla's not as interesting. I'm not saying she's not as interesting, but as Desmond, her motives are not as stronger than, Desmond's one,
But
Like-
she is better than being a nameless abstergo
Obviously.
employee.
Like,
It's really weird. And
I'll take her any day than some mindless guy on
Yeah.
the iPad hacking stuff in Abstergo. Like, I'll take her, but they could have added on more to her. And guess what they did to her? They killed her.
Yeah.
So we have no modern day protagonists. Well, we don't have anyone. We've got Bassam, but I don't know where Bassam is. I think he's still on vacation in North America somewhere.
he's just he's just chilling out somewhere for sure.
Yeah, he's just chilling. But like, I hope they do something with Bassam. He's a very interesting character.
He is. So
But, like-
Bassam's one of my favorite characters, and
Yeah.
this is why I think that he's in Shadows, because we haven't seen him. Mentor Nico has just said that Bassam's currently watching this live.
I love Mentor Nico. God bless him. You guys should check out his account because he's the most underrated content creator. Actually, check everyone out. I want this community to grow, and everyone's going with me. Everyone, hold my hand. We're going on an adventure. We're going to take down the Templars. We're going to take down all this people saying woke stuff and hating on this Assassin's Creed game. No, we'll hold hands. We're the brotherhood. We all go together.
I think that's what we need to do as a community, and it's something we'll discuss later. Is that why is the community so bent on being split and divided? We all love the same franchise, whether we like the OG games or the RPG games. We all love Assassin's Creed, and that's the thing that matters. That's the thing that binds us all together. It's not that we're all on this massive ball of rock hurtling through the fucking solar system. It's the fact that we all love this franchise for different reasons, and that's what makes us connected. And we just need to get along with each other. It's not like nobody has the definitive answer. Liking Assassin's Creed is very subjective, and inside that is more subjective. There is no objectivity when it comes to Assassin's Creed, and that's something that we need to all remember, and we all need to agree on, and we're all here together. So if there's anyone in the comments that wants to be followed, or that you don't follow already, go drop them a follow. Let's just create a more cohesive, friendly environment to be in. I have my next question for you is, if you could pick any elements from Assassin's Creed Shadows that you would have in Black Flag Resynced, what elements would it be?
100% the stealth, because that stealth in that game is magnificent. How it plays into the setting and stuff is amazing. No doubt that it works in this type of pirate setting as well with all this. 100% the stealth, because it just works. And that's the one thing that people don't see in Shadows, that like the stealth is really good, how it plays into a lot of things and stuff. And like, what if they combine Noway's type of skills and Yasuke's type of skills? Because I feel like Edward can do both. He can be an aggressive assassin, but also a very stealthy assassin. We know he's a stealthy assassin because he does a lot of tailing missions, so he's really good at social stealth. But what if he can have an aggressive side as well, like what Yasuke has, and he can just go into like places like a bar. I don't think he goes into a bar, but like he goes into like any type of hideout or any type of place, and he could just do open combat, or he can just be stealthy,
Yeah,
Like that works for Edward.
I was trying to think. So actually, I have the reason I've asked the question is because I'm currently writing like some TikTok things, and one of my questions is what do you want to see in Black Flag? And first of all, straight away, it's the stealth. That is
Yeah.
the first thing I want to see, because this the thing about Shadow's stealth is it is the best we've ever had.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the mechanic of crouching and going prone. There's so many different elements that go with it that work really
Environment
well.
setting.
So you've got the weather system, like when it's a
Yeah.
bit snowy or it's raining and it's a bit foggy, like you can't be seen as much. When it's raining, you can't be heard as much. There's all these different things that I think would work well in Black Flag. Like if it's raining and you're trying to sneak onto a boat, it's going to be a lot easier to do if it's pouring
Yeah.
down with rain because nobody can hear you.
Yeah. And I think the main criticism I had with, the original Black Flag was that it was not really a stealthy game. Like, yes, social stealth played a part in a lot of tailing missions, but mostly these missions, you just get your swords out and just start stabbing people,
Yeah.
There was not really any stealth. Yes, stealth is possible in this game, but it's really difficult to, like, I was playing a mission in Assassin's Creed, you assassinate the French guy on the boat, but you had to do it in like such an aggressive way. You had
Yeah.
to make noise but not be seen. Like you had to shoot your pistols and stuff just to get people, killed, but like you
Yeah.
couldn't be seen. So you had to be quite quick and stuff. And because the game is quite old, the detection's a bit 50-50, So like you have to be quite aggressive with your stealth in the game. Because there's some missions where you can't do any combat, like open combat, yet you have to be really stealthy. And it was not good that you didn't unlock most of the equipment, like the darts, like sleeper
Yeah.
darts, berserk darts, and the rope later on
Yeah.
in the sequences. So it was quite hard to do this type of stuff. So most people just played like a pirate. So they just went in there, guns blazing, swords blazing, just
Yeah.
killing everyone. But it just takes time to understand Black Flag and its mechanics. Because I feel like it's a very easy game to understand. Because I think anyone can get into that. Anyone this type of age can play it. But they got to really understand how this type of game works. Because stealth is possible, but you got to be patient because there's no crouch burst and
Yeah.
it's automatic just to hide behind cover and stuff. So it's a bit difficult,
Yeah.
And
I actually think that the thing that they should be adding now, I think it's crazy that we had to wait 7 years until we got to Unity before we got a crouch button.
it's crazy.
Um,
And not just like throwable smoke bombs as well.
Yeah.
Just little things, And like even Unity didn't do it perfectly as well because there's still times where you throw a smoke bomb but it doesn't activate and everyone gets noticed and then you pull your
Yeah.
sword out and then you realize you can't take these guys. Then you die. But
Yeah.
Unity was in the right direction, but just little details that Black Flag did better. Like, why is that every time when the person shoots a gun at you in Unity, you can't use a guard to protect you? Why is that you have to roll and dodge? No one does that in a real fight. Why is someone, like, you swinging your sword around and, gun's coming, just quickly do a roll around and then try and kill him? Arno
Yeah.
would never do that.
yeah.
Even in the game, he gets detected. He still uses his hidden blade. Why is that in Unity? You have to be in open combat every time.
Yeah.
And I can criticize Unity because of its story. I'm 50-50 on Unity because I love the game, but I also hate the game. I hate the game because of Arno's character and how he's obsessed with Elise. But I
Oh,
also
God.
love the game because
Thank
of
you.
the Assassin's
Thank you.
Creed. I love Assassin's Creed. I love Unity because of its stealth and its Assassin's Creed, type thing. It's a stealthy Assassin's Creed you can play, and you can feel like an assassin. But my God, that guy is too obsessed with Elise.
He's a crybaby.
Like it's not realistic. Like if you did that in real life to an actual woman, be so obsessive, you think, stop, you're doing too much, bro. Like
Yeah.
you're not supposed to do too much for a woman. I get it, you love her, you take care of her, but there's boundaries. I was a lover boy. I've been in relationships, but I know when too much is too much because he basically invited the woman into the assassins when she's he didn't care about that.
Yeah.
If he was, I don't know, like this guy do anything for this girl, and it was just annoying. It's not like Ezio and Christina, where it's just he had to go away to a different place because he was going to get killed. It wasn't like that beautiful love scene where it ended tragically, but it's just he's obsessed. Like you can tell he's obsessed with this girl. And I get it.
Yeah.
Elise is a good, loving character, but it's not good where he's just chasing this girl around everywhere in Paris, where he's just not caring about other things. Like, yes, they had good moments with each other, but I felt like the whole game he was going after this girl, and we weren't really focused on being assassins.
Yeah.
And
so my thing with Arno is that he's a crybaby, but also the whole point of his, like, he wants to avenge his dad's death, but then he just forgets about it. Like, he doesn't really care. And I think he's so, I'm not I hate Arno.
No. He's not a bad character, but how he's just written as a lover boy is horrendous because it's, like I said, it's unrealistic. It's not what love is. You do a lot for a woman, but it's limits and boundaries. And like maybe he's got emotional problems. He's lost his dad, but at the end of the day, I kind of wanted him just to go after Shay Cormac. That's what we all wanted.
Yeah.
Not a love story between some girl, which was worse than Ezio and Christina, because I felt like Arno was supposed to be like Ezio, but just a more annoying British accent. I don't know why a French guy has a British accent. I don't know.
Sometimes British, sometimes American accent. That's crazy.
And like they could put on a good French accent. Arno he would be better if he had a French accent, but no, they gave him a British accent. So I feel like they just didn't like French people, so they gave him British accents, even though the company's French at the end of the day. So I don't get that.
It's crazy. So for Black Flag, you would like to see Shadow stealth. I also think that Shadow's weather system,
graphics,
and their lighting, their lighting system as well, because I also think the lighting and the weather play into the stealth. So I think that those would work really well together.
And also, for the love of God, please do not change the cutscene quality or the facial animations. Update the graphics, but I just don't want to see those horrible character models speaking like robots. I just want good cutscene qualities that we got in the original games. Have the graphics up there. Keep the graphics from the RPGs, put it in there, but just don't change the cutscene quality, because the cutscene quality is horrendous. That's why I really do not like Shadows for that point. Everything else is fine. Story, I can handle it because, revenge story is passable in my books. Stealth's good. Plays two characters is fine. But the only reason why I don't really like the game too much is because they're lazy with the character models and how they talk, and sometimes the voice acting is not on point, and it feels like I'm watching a depressed movie, and I feel like a depressed movie playing this game because I don't want to see these character models keep yappa yappa yappa. Just make it more emotional. Like I like the opening of Shadows when her father dies, very emotional, but yet her voice acting, I don't hate the voice actor, no hate to her. She's probably a talented voice actor, but I just don't think she was right fit for Naoe because of her voice acting. I felt like I played it in Japanese subtitles because I didn't like the voice acting of Shadows. Yasuke's one was fine, but I found Naoe, she just didn't feel authentic, And I hate bashing on that. I don't say that it's bad, but in my opinion, I just was not fond of it. I couldn't really connect to her because her voice was annoying. And no hate to the voice actor, she probably did an amazing job, but just in my opinion, it was just not for me.
So the bit that I struggle with Shadows is that I think, from what I understand, is that I think mocap was used for all major story cutscenes and critical moments, but other than that, it was all animated. And for me, that is an issue. I agree that Black Flag's original like cutscene quality should be there. You've already got it already. Basically, all you're essentially doing is upscaling the graphics.
Yeah.
And potentially adding more lines and more cutscenes. So the newer cutscenes, we might see animation, we might see mocap. I am looking forward to finding out what we do see.
I pray to God it is mocap, because I can't do these animations, these onesies. Like, it's annoying me. That's why I just didn't like some parts of Mirage, because it's all Odyssey's fault. Because Odyssey, that's when they kind of drifted away from mocap and started focusing on animations. And like Cassandra's facial models can look really good in some cutscenes, but really hideous. And it's like, God, she's a good protagonist. Why are you giving her this type of stuff? It's not fair on her. She's a good protagonist, you know? So, like, yeah, I don't like, because it's disrespectful for these characters as well, in my opinion. You're disrespecting these characters.
Also, I don't know how much it affects the voiceovers and stuff, but Narway's voice actor, I actually think is really good. But because the cutscenes are so bad, that's the bit that you focus on. Like, you're focusing on the fact that she's supposed to be really emotional that, for instance, somebody's died or somebody's like not done something or whatever it might be. But instead of you hearing that in her voice, and you can hear it in her voice for sure, but her face is so blank and so unresponsive, and that's the bit that draws you out. And that's why essentially you are looking, going, there's something not quite right here. And that's the bit that's really difficult, is that you can hear the expression in her voice, you just can't see it. And
the delivering is horrendous.
Yeah, so I'm a chef, right? And one of the main things for me, like when I'm plating food, is that when someone puts a plate of food down, it's not what it tastes like, it's what it looks like. And you're instantly drew to what it looks like, and you're instantly drawn to these cutscenes where her animations is very robotic and very stoic, and that's what pulls you out. It doesn't matter how good the voice acting is or isn't in whatever instance, but because it doesn't visually look right, that's what puts you off, and that's the bit that draws you in. So for me, I like her voice acting. I view it from, it's the animation that's pulling me out and is drawing me away from the voice acting, and that's the problem. I do agree with Dallas though that mocap for voice acting is much better. Like
100%.
Narway's voice acting in the mocap scenes are fantastic.
100%.
So and that's the bit that I say, that it's the animation, it's not the voice acting. Like
because if they have good mocap, you can physically see how they're I think if I remember a cutscene from Valhalla with a campfire between Eivor and Bassam, you could feel these characters because of their facial animation, how they were talking. It felt realistic because they have moments where they can use mocap and do it really well, but I feel like it's like they're not giving us a bare minimum anymore. Like, even in these old Assassin's Creed games, even little side missions had mocap. Like, these little side missions had stuff that side missions in this game doesn't have. And like, I feel like it's also putting me off as well a little bit, and it's not good with the level gating as well, where you have to do a lot of side missions where they're just really uninteresting, I don't know how in Origins they at least had mocap in Origins, but I feel like when the games got more bigger, they decided to drift away and focus more on open world. That's why I don't really. I like Odyssey and Valhalla, don't get me wrong, but the story, I'm just not a big fan of those two games because personally, I can't connect with these characters because Valhalla and Mirage, not
Yeah.
Odyssey, because Odyssey has Cassandra. And Cassandra's a really good character,
Yeah.
and she's pretty. Cassandra's very pretty in my books, but like I think with Mirage and Valhalla, they're two identical.
Yeah, because
The story just just puts me off because of without the mocap, without any of that, it just feels like it's bland. It feels like it's written by ChatGPT, and I can't connect with any of these characters because they sound like AI characters that you would chat to.
I actually I like Mirage, and Mirage is what actually got me back into, like, I know that Shadows was coming out, and that's the game I was gearing up to. I hadn't played Mirage. So I was like, I'm going to start playing Mirage, and that's going to be my first load of content and stuff. And it actually, for me, it reminded me so much of AC1.
Yeah.
And let's not get it twisted. AC1 is not perfect by any means. It's
definitely not perfect.
It's not
it's
perfect.
A good foundation game for Assassin's Creed.
It's not great. And it reminded me when I'm running through the streets of Baghdad, all I can picture is Altair, and I'm like, this is what I felt like when I played the first Assassin's Creed game. But I do understand this like the story and the animations, because Eivor and Basim run exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Basim's supposed to be, like, before Narway, Basim was the fastest protagonist. Because obviously with his glitching animation, it's because he's too fast for the Animus. But outside of that actual mechanic, he is slow as hell. He runs slow, he moves slow, his parkour is slow. Everything about him is slow. Like, they picked it up a little bit with the parkour update and stuff, but outside of the mechanic that he's supposed to be quick for, he's really slow. And I think that's the bit that people get caught up on, is that while Mirage is its own game and its own entity, it's basically just Valhalla with the same mechanics and the same animations and the same voice acting, the same style. And that's the bit that's really difficult. And I think that's why Valley of Memory works really well, is because it's completely different. It's its own writing. It has nothing to do with Valhalla and its systems or anything. It's its own thing, and I think that's why it works really well. I want to know who is in your Mount Rushmore of Assassin's Creed protagonists. So you get picked four. And we would love to hear them. And in the comments as well, guys, put your four Assassin's Creed protagonists that you would have on Mount Rushmore.
Mine's gonna be really basic, honestly. Like, not really a shocking thing, but so we'll go for top four. Basically treat it as a top four.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore. Bayek. Sorry, Connor Kenway.
Yeah.
Bayek. Altair, Edward, and Ezio.
Okay.
Really basic, I know.
So we've got, in the comments, we've got a Desmond, Altair, Aya, and Ezio.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to work that out as well. I think that was 5 people.
I put 5?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, oh, no. Oh, God. But, oh, God. Bayek, Altair, Edward, Ezio. That's my top 4.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I have a really weird one here. I have an Edward, Arno, Basim, and Ezio. Arno should not be on anyone's Mount Rushmore for any reason.
I mean, some people like him because he's attractive. He's a lover boy. He's a simply boy. People like that type of thing. No one said Cassandra. Has anyone said Cassandra?
Nobody said Cassandra yet.
Put some respect on my girl.
Yeah,
She's top 5. She's the best female assassin in Assassin's Creed, in my opinion.
So we've got a Basim, Ezio, Arno, and Connor. We've got a 4 Ezio. We've got Ezio, Altair.
Okay, that's not. You can't just pick the two protagonists twice. Like, I'll be honest with you, Altair's story is not as good as Edward, in my opinion. Altair's story is too limited. He's carried technically by Ezio because of Revelations.
Yeah, so, and he's also carried by like the novels as well.
Yeah.
So he's definitely carried by outside media.
Yeah. Altair's good, but he's just too bland for me. I get he's in my top 2 because he's still important to the Creed, and because of that. But you can't just put Altair, Ezio. What about Edward? What about Connor? Because Connor's story is quite good. Bayek's is quite good. Come on, put some respect on these guys' names.
Yeah. So, Mount Rushmore is a legacy selection about the biggest impact in the franchise. So it would be Altair, it would be Ezio, it would be Bayek, and it's really difficult to pick that. For me, it's really difficult to pick that 4th one. I would say Desmond.
Desmond, yeah.
Because Desmond is, without Desmond, the Templars would have taken over so much.
Can we do a females one?
We can do a females one.
Yeah, I love the females, but there's not a lot of females in Assassin's Creed. So there's gotta be smart. So Aveline from Liberations, that's top 4.
Yeah.
Layla.
Yeah.
Evie, Cassandra.
Ooh. So we're doing a woman's Mount Rushmore now, but Dallas Creed has just said that Eivor's impact is genuinely immeasurable, lore-wise, but people aren't ready for that. And I would have put Eivor in my females Mount Rushmore for sure.
Yeah, because I love Eivor as a character, but I felt like not more is done in the main games like we see with other characters. It's either in DLC or it's in books. I'm not discrediting Eivor, but I prefer seeing it more on screen than more on a book. You get what I mean?
So this is another thing, right? I'm going to bring this back to Black Flag, right?
Okay.
This is another thing that pisses me off about Black Flag, right? I want everything I want to see in Black Flag needs to be in Black Flag. I don't want to see Edward become a master assassin outside of the game. I don't want to see him die outside of the game. I want to see that. I want to live it. I want to be inside. I want to be there with it. The same thing I said about all the other stuff when it comes to Altair or Juno or whatever it might be. I don't want there to be outside of the media that I'm having. I'm playing the game. I want it all to be there. I don't want to be I finished Black Flag. I need to read this book and this book and this book to find out the rest about Edward. That's the reason we play the games. I want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like these days, the problem I have with the RPGs is that it's all in DLC or it's in books. These characters deserve more on-screen time.
Definitely.
That's why I only really like a select few of characters in the RPGs because of the on-screen appearances and the plot twists that happen. Like, I like Darius, like the first assassin, but he's only in a DLC. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? There's a lot of important characters that need more time, and I think the best solution for Assassin's Creed now is that they focus on other characters now. After Black Flag Remake, after Hex, they focus on other characters that have never got sequels, like Bayek, Cassandra, Altair, Connor, because they all need sequels. They all need a bit more growth. Because they can't just end it there and without nothing, and it's left the fans confused on what's happening because these characters are kind of just forgotten and just have their own laws in their head. Like, this is the thing: Assassin's Creed Rogue, people care about shipping Shay and Haytham than actually Shay and Haytham's character development because people get more interested in their own minds and their own ideas. That's why people, make ships and stuff because there's nothing else for the game. There's nothing else for these characters. So they just use their own interpretations and I love it. I love how people make these type of interpretations, if it's anything romantic or anything, but it just adds more to it and it makes it more unique how people can be, open-minded and create anything. But then Ubisoft could do anything, I hate how they play it safe every time. They could make a really good Assassin's Creed game, with the Resync. It could be one of the best Assassin's Creed games we ever played with Resync if they do it well.
Yeah. Of
course, maybe not topping the Ezio collection or some other games, but at least put it in a way where if it does really well, maybe Ubisoft could, like I said, go back to other characters, finish their arcs off because there's so many characters that needs their arcs to be finished. Yeah. Someone just said in the chat, Shatham.
Yeah, so Cole said Shatham. That is actually fantastic.
I know who that is. Oh my god. What about a world? Oh, bro, I'm finally seeing the comments. Shatham, yeah, it's a beautiful ship. You guys should check that out. But anyway, what about World War One in Syndicate? About that one, that was quite interesting with Lydia Fry, but honestly, I'm a bit hesitant on that game because again, I don't like killing these World War One soldiers in this game because I feel like it hurts me a little bit because a lot of young kids went into war and they kind of died for nothing. Yeah. So it makes me a bit uncomfortable, for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. While we're on the subject of Shatham, I want to know, what is your hottest Assassin's Creed take?
Assassin's Creed take?
Your hottest Assassin's Creed take, and that's everybody in the comments as well. I want your hottest Assassin's Creed take.
What's my hottest? Everyone keeps saying I have cold takes. You don't have any hot takes. I think that Mary Read is a better written protagonist than Jacob Fry. So, because you get to understand Mary as more of a side protagonist than you do as Jacob as a protagonist. And I do not like Jacob because of that. Yes, Jacob has really good qualities. Again, I believe Jacob was the first main assassin to come out as bisexual to us because of his sexuality he had with that character. And that's really interesting about me. I was more interested in the guy's sexuality than what he was doing in London because little things like that interest me. I love how Assassin's Creed should dive more into, LGBTQ, more into, inclusivity, but make it done right. Do it right. Just don't put it as little sneak things or add it in a cutscene. If you want to make a character gay, just make him gay. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. We're getting off topic, but that's the only redeeming thing I like about Jacob was just his sexuality, his interest in that guy. But that was it. Mary Read, on the other hand, she's also bisexual. She has interests in Anne Bonny. But yeah, her character is really interesting because she helps Edward to grow. And, when she dies, Edward kind of realizes that, she was only trying to do her best so Edward doesn't fall in the same fate as her.
Yeah. So Cass has said this community lacks their own interpretations and can't let others share their own too.
I know what he means by that. The problem with this community now is that people are really, really disrespectful in this community. Like, people cannot have opinion on certain things. Like,
Yeah,
people are hated on it. Like, I'm not going to call anyone, no one's going to get called out because, I respect everyone. I think everyone can change and grow. But I think there's just people in this community who just do not respect Assassin's Creed and just thrive over hatred over it. Like, they use the most homophobic, racist, derogatory
yeah,
stuff against, characters. Like, oh, I hate Cassandra because she's a woman. I hate Yasuke because he's a different skin color. I hate how Norway has
yeah,
like lesbian moments. Like, that's not good. You're not respecting what the games are about, because back then they had this type of stuff, but you just didn't pay attention to it. You're just
yeah,
saying it now because you have nothing else to hate on, because you're just miserable. You're saying it's all woke. I've made a video about calling out people who think Assassin's Creed is woke, but they've always had stuff like this. It's just no one paid attention to it. It's just now
yeah,
people just thrive over hatred. I've seen videos of saying that women ruined Assassin's Creed, that women have messed up, woman this, woman that. They didn't. A woman literally helped make Assassin's Creed, the first one. I forgot the person's name, but she helped. And like, they're just saying, oh, because all women development, it's all woke. It's not. It's just you guys are just hating on these games because you're just miserable. All these games have good qualities. I'm not saying they're masterpieces. None of these games.
yeah,
I don't think Black Flag is a masterpiece of a game. It has its flaws, but with Assassin's Creed as a home, it's a very divided community, because there's some people who genuinely love this game for what it is, and there's people who just hate on it because they just have nothing else to do. Like, it just, I've called people out for it. I've called people out saying, using this like racist, homophobic, derogatory words against characters, because it's just stupid. People
yeah,
should be happy on what they should enjoy, not like what someone else is saying. Because again, Assassin's Creed goes against religion. They don't even care about Christians or Muslims in the game. They go against, traditional norms in the game. Like, Ezio's an atheist, Altair's an atheist, Edward's an atheist. All these characters go against God. They go against moral values. They do. Ezio was Catholic, but he became an atheist because he learned more about Assassin's Creed,
yeah,
because they challenged the idea of God in Assassin's Creed. So if that's not woken up, then what is? That is what they're challenging, stuff. And I want Assassin's Creed to keep doing this stuff. I want them to take more risks. If we're going to get into a Hex question, I've got some ideas for Hex actually.
yeah. So I've said before that I think Ubisoft should not listen to the fan base,
Yeah.
and not in a don't listen to us
Mm-hmm.
in a way of this mechanic needs changing, this mechanic needs changing, or this needs to be done. Listen to us with that. Listen to us about any issues that the game's running or whatever. When it comes to the actual game and the actual setting, don't listen to the fans at all, because
No.
the fans are so divided on what it needs to be that, as we said earlier, that we as the fans don't know what we want. So don't listen to us. Just do your own thing. Be brave, be bold, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Do what needs to be done. People are going to love the game. People are going to buy the game whether they like it or not. People don't like Shadows, and the amount of people that have brought Shadows is crazy. And they've brought it just so that they can complain about it.
It's stupid.
It's literally you're spiting yourself.
You're spending your money on it just to criticize the game. It's stupid. And like, if I remember, Shadows sold pretty well in the United Kingdom for gaming. Like, it did quite well. Like, for a game like Assassin's Creed that no one really talks about anymore, it's still relevant, People still love this game. But I feel like if people are just getting the game and just hating on it, they are just miserable, because they're either pointing out that Naoi's kissing a woman, or, the parkour's not like Unity, or like there's a black guy in Samurai Japan, even though he did exist as a character. There was a black samurai called Yasuke in Japan at that time. That was real. People criticizing that. So it's just just hating on it because of its identity, of the
Yeah.
character's identity, not because of the stealth. Because the truth is, there's a lot of good points about Shadows no one talks about, like the gear upgrades, the combat's good. You know, people just want to look at the negative and say,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, Ubisoft is so bad with all this type of stuff," but they're not. There's still redeeming qualities in these games. The only thing they should just focus more, in my opinion, is just storytelling, growing these characters up, you know, developing them, giving them side characters to help them with it, you know? Like, give me a Leonardo da Vinci or like Edward Kenway, Steve Bonnet type friendship again.
Yeah.
Give me like anything just to give these characters growth. That's what I just want. They only
Yeah.
have to really fix like two things in Assassin's Creed: cutscene quality and story.
No. I've said this before that, like, let's not. Everyone says that the writing is bad in the RPG games and the characters are bad and this. Let's not get this twisted right now. That no Assassin's Creed game is ever going to be heralded as the best story writing in video games.
Yeah.
Let's not get that twisted. Okay? Like they've never been the greatest story games ever.
No.
But everyone is kind of, I hate saying it, but they're kind of blinded by nostalgia. I'm one of them. And yeah, I can sit here and say that AC2 is my best, is my favorite game, and I view it as the best game. And that's it. I just need to I just need to point something out, that someone in the comment section is saying that health bars ruined Assassin's Creed. And health bars have been in AC at least since AC3. Your first fight as Haytham has a health bar. Like Liam has a health bar. It's there.
Since 2009, they've had health bars. They had little dots on. They always had health bars since 2009. Yeah. So, like, what's these are silly little complaints? Because you're right, it's nostalgia. Because they've not played these games since they were like 10, and they're just thinking about stuff that they don't remember. I was talking to someone about AC2, and I told them you can't replay missions in AC2. And like, no, yes you can. I was like, no, you're not. You can't. But then I told them you're blinded by nostalgia. You can't replay missions in AC2 because you think all these games are perfect. No, you have to revisit these games again. Like, I feel like if people are literally just hating on these newer games and they've not played the original ones in ages, they need to replay the original ones and the older ones and actually newer ones and older ones again and actually really compare them and see that, like, a lot of these games all have flaws. All these games have flaws that people don't pick out, you know? Like, I can give flaws about, like, AC2, Black Flag, Origins, Odyssey, Unity. All these games have flaws, but no one points them out because they gatekeep them, because it's their opinion and they don't want someone to, like, challenge them about it.
And also, I also want to say that, Sean, you're allowed to have your own opinions. That's what the community is all about. That's what I like to spread, is positivity, and anybody can say whatever they want, but you can't sit here and say that every Assassin's Creed game after Syndicate is shit when you're also saying that you haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since Syndicate. You don't get to say that they're all shit if you haven't played them. That's not how this works. You have to play the game. You can't just say it's shit, because that's the thing that needs to, like, that's the thing that's done now, is that they're all shit. It's the RPG era. It's shit. You can't sit there and tell me that it's shit, and you can't have that opinion if you haven't played them. That's not how this works. That's not how we deal. But you just said that you haven't played a game since Syndicate, and now you're saying that you played a bit of Odyssey. So either you've played them or you haven't. That's not how this works. I can't sit here. I would be absolutely a disservice to you guys if I sat here and said that Black Flag is a shit game if I never played it. So what you're saying is you played a little bit of these RPG games, and because they didn't click with you, you didn't like them. That is completely different to just saying that they're shit.
Because it takes time to learn these Assassin's Creed games. Personally, when I played Assassin's Creed the first time, like Black Flag, I didn't like it, but it took me time to understand the controls and stuff, how things work in this game, especially with the RPGs. It takes time. It's not like a one-way experience where, oh, okay, I should like it. No, it takes time to get with these characters and stuff and learn everything about it. It's not just one thing that you don't connect that fast. You really think people who play these story games play for like 5 minutes and say, oh, I like this character, he's my favorite. No, you have to play the entire game, not the entire game, but at least understand what the story is about, know how the mechanics work, and then you can have your full opinion on it. You can play a little bit of the game. You don't have to necessarily complete it, but get enough where you can understand what the story is about. Like Shadow's revenge story, Black Flag redemption story, AC3 another revenge story, AC2 revenge story. They keep doing a lot of revenge stories for some reason. Unity, love bombing love story, Syndicate, gangsters in New York, London. But you get what I mean. You have to understand to a basic level on what these games are about. You can't just say, like what you just said, these games are horrible, but I've not played it since, that type of, since, Black Flag. I was like, then you can't have an opinion. It's not fair.
Yeah.
They're just pulling it out there. They're just pulling it out somewhere, Like, you don't have, it's like, even comments I get on my TikTok accounts, I get these and like, bro, just stop. Just play these games again. And because you're just being disrespectful and you're just being racist, you're just using homophobic words and you're just offending people. And it's kind of upset me to a point because I feel deeply about these characters individually and I don't like how people are offended by it and get hurt and they have to leave the community because of this. And it's not fair. I want everyone to be happy in this community and not complain when someone's being rude or derogatory to them. Like there's people who have followings who are just really weird, like how they act around people, around their opinions. Like they're not open-minded, and I feel bad for these people who just want to enjoy the games. Like some of these people just want to enjoy what they want. Yes, they might have controversial opinions, but you shouldn't hate on them. And I feel bad sometimes hating on Jacob because I know there's a person that likes Jacob, and I stop hating on them. Stop hating on Jacob just because of them, because I know they have a personal impact on these characters. I'm not going to sit here and say, these characters are horrible, forget them. No, there's people who genuinely do care about these characters and they like them, they resemble them, they feel like they are them. Like, I don't say I'm like Edward all the time. I feel like sometimes I'm like Arno, sometimes I'm like Shay, because there's parts of the characters I can connect with because at parts it can be realistic. But overall, I feel like people should just be happy with their opinions and just not fight over it. And you can't. People have told me no one can be satisfied. I get that, but at least at the moment that if we see criticism, we can point it out. We can look at it and point it out. Because even now, people are still hating on Shadows because it's not like it's LGBT. Because it's stupid. It's not what it is. You're just pointing out stuff that happens in the game, but not understanding the context. These romantic scenes are a choice. You don't have to interact with these romantic scenes. You're not supposed to see two lesbians kissing. You don't have to. Some people might like that, but they're just weird because they fetishize it. But mostly, it's a choice.
But there's scenes with Norway that's like, I saw it the other day. Someone was posting on Twitter and it was like, look, Norway's a lesbian. Like, you don't just get to kiss that woman. Like, there is dialogue options that you have to pick to get to that point. Like,
exactly.
It's not something that just magically happens. Like, you are actively making that choice. And one of the other complaints about Shadows was when it was like doing the marketing and stuff was that Yasuke was seen to be attacking a temple or a shrine or whatever it might be. And I was like, that's not... Ubisoft haven't done that. The player has actively gone up to that and decided to attack it. That's not Ubisoft doing that. That is you doing that. So this isn't
like
Ubisoft being anti-Japanese. You
No,
chose to go to that
chose.
temple,
Yeah.
and you chose to kick it down, and you chose to smash it up. That is your choice. It's not anyone else's. And this is
Okay.
the thing that they need to remember.
But like this is the thing, smashing up temples is bad. But remember in Assassin's Creed where you can climb churches and stuff and be in church and start swinging around the places in AC2.
Yeah.
Like the monk is just praying there, and then you just see Ezio trying to collect Altair's armor. He's bouncing all over the church, but that's fine. But when they break a shrine that has an option to do it, they're like, "Oh, this is bad." But Assassin's Creed has always not been it's not a religious game. They go against religious ideologies in the game. They challenge it. So I don't get this type of argument.
Do you remember when you get to beat the shit out of the Pope underneath Vatican City? Like that's okay. Like that's acceptable. We literally beat the hell out of the head of the Catholic Church, but that was okay. That was fine. Yeah. Nobody had an issue with that. But going back to the questions, why do you think that on different platforms the communities tend to be different? So on Twitter, I sometimes find them to be it's very welcoming, but then other times it can be very toxic and very negative. On TikTok, it is very negative. There is a negative connotation with being a Assassin's Creed content creator on TikTok, and I wanted to know if you've experienced that, or why you think that the communities are so different and so opposite each other. So YouTube is completely different as well.
Yeah. But like, I think the problem is that I feel like YouTube's the biggest one. I don't use Twitter because I think I don't support what Elon Musk does, so I don't use X or Twitter. But I mainly just lean around Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Those are the main three pinnacles I do. But I think the thing with Assassin's Creed is that on TikTok, when YouTubers come on here, they expect it to be like YouTube, but short form. But I'm not going to name a creator, but like there was creators on here, not all of them, but a select few thinking, oh wait, they only talk about RPGs. They only like Odyssey because their mouths are bigger and they like the games to be defended. And it was not because, it was, Assassin's Creed people on Assassin's Creed TikTok only like RPGs because, again, two people talk about it, Johnny and Dallas, because they love the Assassin's Creed RPGs. But that's just segregating me. Like, as a content creator, I focus not just on RPGs, but as the whole games in general. Yes, I have a select few, and Black Flag's my main priority, but then, like, everyone has their own Assassin's Creed they prefer to post more. But, like, people, if someone has a bigger mouth and their opinions are different and unique, obviously other people are going to get other reactions from it as well.
Yeah.
It's like that. It creates drama. And with that, people like Johnny and Dallas get attacked for it because their opinions are different. They are unique. But I like them for it because I like how people can be so unique and get challenged by it. And then you just see immature people crying in the comments saying, why did you say that Black Flag's horrendous?
Yeah.
Why did you say all this stuff? But it's their opinions and they have the right to defend it. Well, I just don't get, why are there other YouTubers, making content about them when their opinions are just what they want? They're not paid by Ubisoft. They're not feeding by Ubisoft. They've got promotions by it. But I've talked to them privately, and they're really nice guys. They're really humble, human beings.
Yeah.
I don't like how they are the reasons why, it's so different on TikTok. We're all the same on all platforms. Everyone has their different negativity. It's just on TikTok, people are just focused on the RPG guys. But there's so much stuff on TikTok, like the beautiful art people make, the beautiful ships.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean? There's a lot more variety on TikTok than there is on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, you know? Because I feel like Twitter, in my opinion, is more like news stuff for Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed. It's very newsy like. So like you only get that for news and stuff. But you know, Instagram's like that as well. It's news and a bit of like, it's a mix of Twitter and TikTok. Instagram is with that. But YouTube and TikTok, they're really different. Like it's more toxic on TikTok than it is on YouTube, because YouTube, mainly people I see either post on TikTok these days, it's either about new updates about Assassin's Creed or playing Assassin's Creed after a certain period of time, a bit of short content because it's inspired by YouTube, you know, modded videos and stuff. But like, yeah, it's different, but then it's also quite similar, because when you go to shorts, it's the exact same. Like the short videos I see on TikTok are the same ones I see on YouTube Shorts. Like that's what I see: evolutions, combat, parkour. You see that on YouTube and TikTok. That's the short part. But long-term content, it's different. It's vastly different, because again, YouTube short form is short formatted, so you would see quick videos like this. So it's easier for people to get their opinions out on TikTok than it is on YouTube, because how easy it is just to make controversial opinions. Like you can watch like a 27-second video saying how bad Assassin's Creed is now than it was before. You see that, and it's like 27 seconds, and it draws you in. It's like, oh, is it playing the nostalgia thing? It's like a nostalgia type video, because people thrive off nostalgia as well. And then you get other creators who are just like, that's good, but what if I can rant about it? What if I give my own opinions? What if I just share what I like? And that's fine. But the problem is, why is there just YouTubers suddenly just coming onto here saying, wait a minute, they're talking about something different, let's make a video about it. Long video.
So potentially, I have a feeling it's because, so we all know that TikTok is engagement based, right?
Yeah.
So those first 10 seconds are very important. So it's what draws you in. So I do see that, obviously we've mentioned Dallas and Johnny are probably two of the most
well-known.
The most well-known on TikTok. But also I think they're the most hated because they like the RPG games. But I have seen a lot of creators potentially using their takes to build a platform for themselves. So it's very easy for AC Johnny to, for instance, to say, I love Valhalla because of X, Y, and Z. And then someone will take that and go, well, I disagree with that. I'm going to use his clout and his platform to boost my own. And I can say, he's completely wrong. I'm beefing with AC Johnny. Guys, come follow me. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's what draws it in. And I think that's the problem. It's not that these guys have bad takes. It's that TikTok is very engagement based. So it's all about
they take it out of context.
Yeah. What can grab somebody instantly in seconds. And the first thing you know is, oh, wait, I know that Dallas Creed, I know that AC Johnny are two big content creators on the platform. What do I need to do to get people to watch my videos? I know what he said about Valhalla is wrong. I'm going to jump on him. What he said about this game, he's wrong. I'm going to jump on him. And that creates someone coming in and going, they're wrong. And this is what perpetuates this toxic environment within Assassin's Creed, is that people in the video attacking Dallas, for instance, go, well, I'm going to jump over to Dallas's videos and I'm going to tell him that he's wrong, which then boosts Dallas's video out because it's engagement based, and the more comments, the more shares, the more likes, whatever, the video gets pushed out, which means more people see it, and then more people will then see the video responding to that said comment. which means that
Exactly.
their video will then get boosted too because of the engagement, and that's why we have a negative environment on TikTok right now. It's because engagement sells, negativity sells, and it's always been the same. It's the same on Twitter. If you're negative about a game, it sells. It's what grabs people in, and it's these things that give TikTok such a bad name. I can tell you now that I do not want to be a person that spreads negativity, but also I will also stand on my. If I have an opinion, you're not gonna change me on my opinion. But also, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, Dallas for saying that Odyssey is the best game." I'm not gonna tell him he's wrong. It's a subjective thing. That's his own thing.
And also,
that's his opinion, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think this is the bit that, like, on YouTube, you have more of a platform because it's longer form videos that you can do, where you can articulate an opinion and a perspective easier than what you can do on TikTok. TikTok is those first 10 seconds are very important. Whereas YouTube, it matters how your thumbnail is, what the title's like, what's the first 30 seconds, first minute like, what's that like, what's the hashtags that you've used, what's the description, what's all these different things that affects the video. Whereas on TikTok, it's if those first 10 seconds aren't good enough, it's not going to pull people in. And that's the bit that people are looking for. That's the bit that people are chasing. And I think that's where the negativity comes from.
Yeah, and like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my god. I feel like when people get attacked, they also do personal attacks against the person as well. Like, they attack the person, but also how they talk, and like they say, "Bro, shut the hell up" and stuff. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and they start cursing at them. Like, that's not how you get an opinion out. You're just insulting the guy because his opinion is different. Like, I remember when Dallas made a video saying that Assassin's Creed isn't a stealth game, but people took that out of context, and then everyone just kept berating the guy, saying Assassin's Creed has always been a stealth game. It had social stuff and stuff, but nobody really watched the whole video. They took offense to it because they're soft and they don't like their opinions being challenged. And then when Dallas made a response to the video defending his claim, everything was okay because he literally explained it again why. And he literally, because no one reads, because I knew people didn't understand what he meant, because Assassin's Creed isn't really a stealth game. It's a fantasy type game. It's going to have elements of of stealth, but again, not really a stealth game. You're just in it just to get lost in the setting, the Templar conflict.
Yeah.
Stealth is there, but it's not the main source. It's not a stealth game. Assassin's Creed, it's not really a stealth game. It's an action-packed game.
It's not. Because when you're talking about stealth, what are we actually talking about? Because social stealth makes absolutely no sense other than in AC1.
AC1, AC2.
Well, I wouldn't even say AC2.
Really?
Yeah, because Ezio's outfits are so different to the people that he's blending in with that no guard realistically is going to run past Ezio and go, there's 5 monks there. He's nothing to... That guy's got armor, a sword, but they're all monks. That's fine, and run off. Whereas Altair is the only one where social stealth kind of works.
What about Jacob though? Because I think he can really blend into social. Of course, social stealth is not really in Syndicate, but his outfit, he could do probably good social stuff because of what he wears, because he wears a standard Victorian outfit, and he has a top hat as for a disguise as well. So if there was social stuff in Syndicate for Jacob, he would be on the same category as Altair because no one really noticed Jacob.
Yeah, but I just don't think, like, people could say that about social stealth in Shadows. Social stealth in Shadows wouldn't work for Yasuke. It would work for Norway, yes, but but again, not really, because other than guards, no one else is walking around with a sword or a massive bow staff on their back. But Yasuke is the he's the only African American. He's the only colored
African.
person in the game. So
And he's quite tall as
him
well. So
being able
he
to-
stands
yeah.
out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, like him doing social stuff would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So it would make no sense. Connor, he's the only Native American running around with a hood on. Social stuff makes no sense for him.
And it's not. It doesn't help that he's like the tallest guy around. He's like 6'4",
Exactly.
like
Like
200 something pounds.
It makes no sense. So anyone who's like, oh yeah, it's a stealth game, it's really not, because you can't, like, as we've talked about, you can't crouch until 7 years later unless you walk into a bush, which is the wildest thing ever. We have a stealth game from a creator that creates one of the best stealth games ever in Splinter Cell, and we have to wait 7 years for a crouch button. That's insane. That's actually crazy. So I understand what he's saying, but people use it. They use takes to create a following, to create, I'm taking on, look at me, I'm the little man, and I'm taking on this big, nasty AC content creator with so many followers, and I'm going to sort him out. And actually, no, you just come off as you're being childish, and we can see right through you that you're using.
And then, like, when their opinions get challenged, they block other people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the comments, sneaky. I'm not going to call. No one gets called out because, again, I'm a big creator. I don't have time to any beef or anything because I want to be a neutral guy. But yeah, still want to talk about stuff that still offends people. So I want to stand up for that without getting into controversy. What I'm just going to say is that there's people in this community who have opinions, but when their opinions get challenged, they either get blocked or they just start insulting the other person. So that's how this community is really bad at the moment. It's just people get insulted for no reason, and it's stupid. If someone has an opinion, respectfully agree to disagree. Have a conversation with them. I don't like some parts of some games. We talk about it. We have a discussion.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're supposed to be mature adults. I'm 18 years old, and yet there's 20-year-olds who are acting childish about a certain Assassin's Creed game. Yet I have more maturity about respecting people than insulting some people. You know, like
I actually had a comment the other day from somebody, and he accused me of being part of the bandwagon, and he was like, I'm unfollowing you because you're part of the bandwagon. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you following me makes no...
What does he mean by a bandwagon? I don't even know what that means.
I'm trying to find what I was talking about, but I can't seem to find the comment. But I can't remember what we were talking about. But he was literally like, you're part of the bandwagon, which means basically I like Shadows just because everybody else does. And he was like, I'm not following. I was like, you follow me. I don't follow you. You're choosing to follow me. So what does that say about you? Well, he's like, I'm not following you because you're part of the bandwagon. Okay, cool. You don't have to follow me. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep because I've had one person unfollow me. Like, yeah, it's cool. Just do what you need to do, you know?
The fact that he wrote a comment to you saying, I'm going to unfollow you because you like Shadows and I hate it. You're supposed to hate Shadows because it's an RPG. How dare you not like Shadows? I mean, how dare you like Shadows? You are horrible. You are, like, dude, come on. It's an opinion. Like, that's just immaturity. Like, if you don't like the game, scroll. Like, it's a TikTok app. You just scroll. Like, watch something else. Watch, like, I don't know, an Altair Ezio ship, if that makes you feel better. Watch something you like something, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes these responses are funny, you know? Like, sometimes the response is so, like, stupid, you just laugh at it. You know?
It sometimes it just makes me laugh, and there's so many times like I go to respond to something, and I say to my partner, I'm like, oh, how does this sound? Because again, I don't want to come across as being
No.
a dick or disrespectful in any
Yeah.
way. So I want to challenge. If you're challenging me, I want to be able to challenge you. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna say derogatory things to me, I'm gonna say derogatory things to you. And she has to filter me quite a lot because I'm like, does this sound okay? She's like, it sounds okay, but it could be taken as you're being like like overly aggressive
Yeah.
or X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, I'll rephrase it. How does this sound? She's like, yeah, that sounds better. I'm like, okay. So she's definitely my filter for that.
I mean, I'm kind of like that as well. I gotta think, okay, like, should I really send that or not? Because I kind of feel bad hurting the person, even though they have been really mean and disrespectful. But again, that's the only way they're gonna learn. If you don't like, not get aggressive with them, but not get pissed off with them, but make sure that your opinion is just offending people. Like, you shouldn't have TikTok if you're just gonna comment all negative
Yeah,
stuff because someone's opinion's different. Like, people had to leave this community. They had to delete their accounts because people got so
yeah,
negative. It's horrible.
yeah. Like there's so many people that um, get treated differently because of um, yeah. It's just so weird. And I've just found the comment. So I posted a video from a year ago that said that I wasn't mad about there being no modern day in Shadows,
Yeah,
because I sometimes find that the modern day pulls you out of the action and
yeah,
out of the moment. And he said, and you call yourself an Assassin's Creed fan. And then he goes on to say, because I don't like modern day stuff. He's like, because you're part of the bandwagon, I ain't following you. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about how they dislike the modern day, but yeah, I'm part of the bandwagon. You can you don't have to follow me, and that goes for
silly.
everybody. If you don't agree, and you don't want to follow me, that's fine. Like I, I'm, that's okay. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, whether you like it or not. It's just not going to happen.
My God, like, I don't get it. Like, and I agree with your opinion. Modern day has not been as good, and I
Yeah,
prefer they took it out. Honestly, this time, because like, if it's not going to lead to anywhere after Layla's death, and we have Bassam or anything, it's okay not to always include a modern day if there's nowhere to go. I prefer if Black Flag never had a modern day, because where
yeah,
did that
me
lead us
too.
to? Yeah, like,
But also, I'm very much of this. I've had this conversation a few times. I've done videos on it. Is that yes, as we know, Assassin's Creed right now, the modern day serves a purpose because in the modern day we're going back in the Animus for a reason. But let's say I don't know we're playing AC1 very first time, and instead of us going back in the Animus, we're living that moment firsthand. We wouldn't need a modern day. We wouldn't need to know what effect it has on the modern day. We're living that moment as first as it happens. It's not about going back and viewing the history and why, like, we're trying to find out where the apple of Eden is or what have you. But if we're viewing it from a historical first point, we don't necessarily need modern day. Yeah, we love it and it's great, but we don't necessarily
yeah.
need it. And I
I
have no
mean, look at
problem
like
with
other
a
games that
game
didn't
not
have
having modern day.
like some games didn't have strong modern days, but they had a good, a decent, protagonist to it. Like
Yeah,
Rogue, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Rogue because how much it doesn't really show off, the Templar's really true side. But
yeah,
like it was better than what the modern day we had in Rogue. Because what was that modern day we had in Rogue? It was such a weird thing. Like
Yeah.
it was like Black Flag, which is worse
Yeah,
for some reason.
Black Flag has one of the worst modern days,
Yeah,
and is the first game with the terrible modern day,
yeah,
and like people are annoyed that it's being taken out. Like, why would you want to keep something in that we all complained about at the
yeah.
time, and still, like, so many years later, we still all complain about it? So,
Because people never just be happy, you know, they would just find something else to complain. Like,
yeah,
you know that video you made about, you know, that fact thing about, you know, when Now Wei, you know, takes her shoes off when she enters the temple.
yeah.
People were saying, you know what, they should add a cutscene to it. And I'm like, why would I want to have a cutscene every time I go into a temple? Like,
Mate.
should I have a cutscene when I go into a church every time? No.
So that video is a repost. So you know that TikTok
Yeah.
shows you posts that you posted a year ago or whatever
Yeah.
on this day. So that post was actually a post that I did on Shadows while I was playing it the very first time, and it was talking about the small details, right? And the comment sections in both videos a year apart are exactly the same. Like, there were so many people like, I want an animation. Why do you want an animation? Because it's better that they put one in, but give us the option to turn it off. I was like, so you want people to waste their time to give you an animation just so that you can turn it off, but the animation's there. You're like, yeah, like that literally makes no sense. Like, what? Why would you want Ubisoft to waste time and resources to make an animation where you can just turn it off? Why not just have it so that the shoes disappear as they're supposed to? Like, why would you want to see Yasuke undoing the laces on his boots every time he goes into a building? That sounds stupid. That sounds so bad.
Like, they could just add it to the story, you know, like they can have a cutscene where they come out the temple and stuff and still show it. Like, just add it into a cutscene, but not add it every time when I have to enter a temple and just take it. It's just stupid.
Absolutely stupid. So let's move on. So rumors are suggesting a July release date for Black Flag. I want to know what you want to see from the marketing of Ubisoft for this game, because if my calculations are correct, as it stands, we are 81 days away.
Wow.
From the release. 81 days. That is no time at all. So I want to know what you want to see from the marketing, and anyone else in the comments as well. What do you want to see from the marketing between now and the release date? And also, do you think that a shadow drop between now and then would work really well?
Well, first thing I'll do is get the trailer out. I mean, the trailer out immediately. But I feel like with the marketing, they could make it very piracy marketing. You know, give us like a pirate theme. You know, like all this type of marketing.
Yeah.
You know, I love these types of pirate stuff. You know, they could do that. I'm not really good on marketing because I've never studied marketing. I was mainly on a business type stuff. So like, I'm not really sure, but just make it just entertaining. Like, market it really well up until its release date, because they've really got a small window now. It's less than 100 days, and they got to do this marketing right. So I'm saying they got to get billboards out. They got to do all of this stuff. Assassin's Creed Resync coming in July, all of it. Just plaster it all over Ubisoft, because that's the game that everyone is excited about besides Hexe. So just go out, just go crazy with this marketing, you know, because we know about the secrets, you know what this game is about. We know it's not going to be a fully RPG-based game. It's going to be a mix of the originals and the newer games. So it's going to make a lot of people happy. So why not just throw it out there? Give us the trailer, give us the marketing, give us everything. And when you were talking about the Shadows thing, are you talking about that little thing in Shadows where they had a mysterious character on the timelines, and that could potentially be Edward.
Yeah. So obviously in the timelines, that wasn't there before. It is there now. And what is like? Could it be Black Flag? Could it be Hex? Now people keep saying about the timelines, but the Black Flag timelines are a bit further down. The one directly under Shadows is like in the 1500s, which is roughly around the time that Hex is taking place. So could we see a Hex trailer? Could we see? I don't know what this is, but it gets people talking, I guess.
I think it's probably the Hex one, honestly. I don't think it's Black Flag, because like you said, if it's at the bottom and it's at next, it's not above, but it's after, it's before Shadows, then it's not going to be Black Flag, because of course Black Flag takes place in the early 18th century, so no. And plus, I don't think it would make sense for that game to take place there, because I think with this game, it's going to be Hex. I can tell it's Hex, because I don't know, one, because, you know, where it sits and stuff, and like Black Edward's is going to look a bit awkward with these characters, because you need more of the characters to be there as well. Like Ezio, Altair, like the whole thing should be there. Edward should be with all these characters, not just with these other characters. So it's going to be a bit out of place. So it's probably not Edward, it's probably like the Hexe character.
So Hidden Hype, I understand that Insider Gaming has said that Black Flag is coming soon and that it's coming on the 9th of July. But also, I would like to say that that is not an official date. That is not confirmed. Ubisoft haven't said anything. Ubisoft haven't, confirmed anything. Insider Gaming also said that we would be seeing seeing Black Flag on Thursday, and we didn't. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Insider Gaming aren't right, but they're definitely not always right. So I would definitely just take everything that they say with a pinch of salt, and until we have an official confirmation, we just don't know.
But we've got a lot of details. Like we've got the first picture of Edward Kenway, and we've got like little details saying it's not going to be a fully RPG based game. It's going to be more like a mix of both. So like it wouldn't be like level progressions or like gatekeeping. It's going to mainly have more of an open world space and gear upgrades and like more loot to get. Basically,
if you're
like
a pirate, you're going to want loot. If he was a real pirate, he would have loot. He would pick up whatever weapons he could find. He would have loot. He would find as much as he possibly could. So I want loot. I want the RPG combat, if I'm honest.
I would agree 100% because again, this Black Flag's combat is way too easy. Like you can be blind and play it. Sorry, that sounds really bad, but you get what I mean. You can basically you don't have to try. The only thing I want them to keep in Black Flag from the original is the finishes, like the animations for the finishes. Keep that as well. You keep the animations of the finishes, but then you also add the RPG combat. I think the best example is either add Origins combat or Odyssey's combat, because I think that really fits Edward more as a character, or maybe Eivor. But that's just subjective, you know. Yeah. But like, just make the combat a bit more challenging. But one thing I've not heard about is the parkour, because I do not want the RPG type of parkour thing, and I hope to God they add a manual jump on day one. But I just hope that they just, I guess they just keep the original parkour from like Black Flag, honestly, because it's just like one button.
But the parkour is so bad. They have to view this game as if it's never released before, right?
Yeah.
And if they release this game to a modern audience, even Assassin's Creed fans, if they're releasing it to a modern audience, it has to play like a modern game. It can't play like it's from 2013. It just won't work.
But this is the thing. They've only had one button for like the whole of the RPG games for parkour mostly.
Yeah.
And like it's been X. So like I don't know. Parkour is going to be the most interesting one because maybe they're not going to use. They're probably not going to use the 2013 version. But I just don't want to see that parkour system we've had, in Shadows or in any of the RPG games, because in my opinion, it's not as good. The animations are fine, like the flipping and stuff. But think about it: they waited months just to add a manual jump button in Shadows, even though the other Assassin's Creed games had manual jump. So I don't know why.
Yeah, but
That's the issue.
So I just want to mention something that Hidden Hype said. I think a lot of players wouldn't even play the game if it's an RPG because they don't want it. I don't know if anyone has read it or wants to read it, but I wrote an article where I believe that Black Flag is the prototype for the RPG games.
Yeah,
and it's the reason we have the RPG games.
I agree.
So I think the only thing that Black Flag doesn't have is the name of an RPG. I'd also like to point out that none of the Assassin's Creed games, other than Shadows, is viewed on Xbox as a RPG. Only Shadows is in a role-playing game. All the others are action adventure.
Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think saying that nobody wants it is fair, but I think a lot of people are misunderstanding. It's practically an RPG as it is. It just doesn't have the name.
But again, if Black Flag had if they added 2 more things to Black Flag, say if they added RPG combat or added any gear upgrades, it'd be really close to an RPG game actually. In fact, it kind of is. Black Flag is really close to one, except it's still it doesn't have any level progression, but
it does. So not necessarily. So not necessarily with Edward, but with the Jackdaw, for instance, you upgrade the Jackdaw.
Yeah.
And by upgrading the Jackdaw, that allows you to take on bigger ships. That allows you to take on the legendary ships. So essentially, there is content locked behind a level system in a way, and that is what leads us to
an RPG.
Yeah.
And literally, Black Flag can be an amazing RPG game actually. They have level progression in the game. The fort in Assassin's Creed, in Black Flag, you have to level up your ship so you can go after these types of forts. Yeah. So, yes, it does. It has
a leveling system. It's just not. It's just not how we view.
It's not how we view it.
It's not how we view a leveling system as we know it, because it's not Edward that's leveling up. It's the ship, but the ship serves as Edward's level.
See, if it was the opposite way round, if it was Edward we have to level up and the ship, it would be an RPG-based game.
Yeah.
See what that means? It's Black Flag is really close to an RPG game, except the only RPG thing is the ship. And you also have to upgrade his gear as well. If you want to get the actual more his upgrades for the rope darts, pistols.
Yeah.
You have to upgrade them. You have to grind it a little bit. So I don't know why people have never seen Black Flag as one of those games that probably gave Ubisoft the idea of a RPG type game, because it can be an amazing one.
Because people view an RPG as something very it's very straightforward. When you say RPG games, you have The Witcher 3, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout, all these different type of games, because they have a character creation and a character skill tree setting. Essentially, the Jackdaw is Edward's leveling system. It's what allows him to fight bigger and better ships.
And it makes it more fun actually, because like if you never had any level upgrades and stuff, then it'd just be boring. Like then the ship's just gonna be overpowered for no reason. You know, you get what I mean? And like
Yeah,
it's just like you need elements of an RPG game for a game to actually succeed. Any type of upgrades or level upgrades to make the game fun. The problem with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, they've done it too much. Like Valhalla's just bloated. Like it's just big. So much skill trees, so much weapons you got to do. Like I said, it's not a bad game, but for me, I'm gonna get overwhelmed and just get confused because like you have to get the right amount of gear, you have to get the right amount of equipment, you have to know what you need to do in combat if you don't have the right upgrades.
yeah,
So you have to really focus on what you have to do, and it's not a bad thing, but it's way too much in Valhalla for a game like that.
See, and this. Okay, so we have two comments here and two comments that I want to address. So Assassin's Creed did this from the start. Yes. So if Assassin's Creed have done this from the start, why is it only a problem now? And also the RPG elements in Black Flag were fun. That is a subjective opinion, because I would argue that they're not that fun. And they're no different to buying skills to do better attacks or so
like
I understand what you guys are saying, and I respect you guys as content creators, but I also this is the level of cope that people have when it comes to Black Flag, is that they will allow it graces because they like the game.
Yeah.
So its RPG elements, yes, it has them, but they're fun, so it's okay. That doesn't make it any better. That means
It's just your opinion.
Yeah.
You're just saying that because you want to defend the game. I get it. I love Black Flag as well. But I would admit myself that if it added a bit more to Edward's, like, level upgrades or anything, it would be an RPG game. Because look at the open map, for God's sake. It feels like it's an RPG game. It's not just you in one location. You're in Havana, you're in Jamaica, you're in Nassau, you're in these other places in Mexico and West Africa. Like, it's meant to be play like an RPG game, but it's not. It has fundamentals, but that I feel like it is a great approach for Black Flag to be an RPG. Not fully French RPG, like it's bloated like Valhalla, but where it's fun and enjoyable and it's like well awarded because again, it fits.
I've also said that with the amount of love that Black Flag gets, and so Ubisoft would have been like, what game are people loving at the moment? What are they looking at? What are they talking about? Oh, they're talking about Black Flag. What did Black Flag have? Massive open world map, a protagonist that wasn't an assassin until the end. It has aggressive combat. I know. Let's make them full-blown RPGs. If that's what they want big sprawling maps, then they want to upgrade stuff. Let's give it to them. And then everyone went, actually, we don't like that. But you do. Like, it's there. And, like, I wouldn't mind some RPG elements, but not a full-fledged RPG. Black Flag was also planned when they were planning the RPG games. But because people love Black Flag so much, that gave Ubisoft the green light. I can guarantee if you guys went, no, we didn't, like at launch, for instance, let's say, we don't like this. The map's too big. We don't like not being an assassin. We don't like naval combat. I can almost guarantee that they wouldn't have been the RPG games. But
exactly.
But because you love it, they've gone, oh, well, they love it. They must want more of it. So we give you more. We'll see how the other games go, and it doesn't work. So let's give them what they have asked for.
Yeah. Like, plus, Origins was already in development at the time when they were making Black Flag. So they were, like, testing the waters of Black Flag, seeing if it was good, and then they made Origins, and then they made it all of that because it was making them all money because they made the maps bigger. It makes sense if you think about it long term, because people enjoyed Black Flag, they enjoyed Origins, and then they went through Odyssey and Valhalla, but then they just did too much of it. That's when they went back to Mirage. People were like, hey, Mirage is pretty good, but it still had to make Shadows because people wanted Shadows, but they wanted to make it an RPG because RPGs made them a lot of money. So they went to make Shadows and RPGs. That's how it works. It's as simple as that.
I think you're the first person that I've had on the show where I've been able to go, look, I view Black Flag as an RPG, and here's X, Y, and Z. And I think you're the first person that I've been able to convince that there is some truth to this, which is great. So we're coming towards the end, but I did a poll on Twitter that was asking what people are more excited for, and are they more excited for Resynced, or are they more excited for Hex? And the results are in. So 36% of the people that voted for Black Flag, and 64% voted for Hex.
Wow.
I wondered why you think that more people are excited for Hex than they are for Black Flag, and is there any particular reason?
I think because Hex, people know more about Hexay than they know about Black Flag, because people are very unsure about what's actually going to be in the Black Flag remake, so they're really unsure on what the story is going to be about, if they're going to have any changes. People know that, Ezio is going to be in Hexay, and it's going to be taking place in the Witch Trials, and we're going to have maybe an RPG type, dark fantasy type, or Assassin's Creed game. So we know the context of Hexay. Heck, we've got a teaser trailer for it. But for Black Flag, we've only got one image and a few people talking about it, and that's it. That's why people are just not talking about Black Flag, because people are just unknown, and they're just scared that Ubisoft's gonna mess it up or change its identity, So that's why people are just starting with Hexay, because it's more of a safe option for them, because they know what the game's going to be about. Roughly, we have no idea what Black Flag's going to be about.
No, and so Nico said that it's because it's developed by Montreal. That can't be it, because Montreal did Valhalla.
That's the thing.
Montreal did Origins. These are two games that people absolutely hate. Montreal also did Unity, which has the worst launch in Assassin's Creed history. So it can't just be that it was because it's Montreal, because I would argue that Montreal in recent years have shown a lack of skill when it comes to Assassin's Creed, because they're struggling.
It's not because of Montreal. It's because they knew what made them more money, and the reason why people are a bit concerned about Black Flag remake Resync is because it's made by Ubisoft Singapore, and Ubisoft Singapore made Skull and Bones, and no one likes Skull and Bones. That's the main issue. So they don't really trust Ubisoft Singapore making this game. They thought Montreal or Quebec would make it, not Singapore. So they're really unsure, so they're sticking with Hexay because Montreal's making it. And I know Montreal's made Unity and stuff, but they also have made really other good games as well.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
So I agree with AC Vision. I think it's because it's the dark setting, something that we haven't seen before, which I think has got people excited.
I'm excited for that, I mean, I've kind of pitched my idea about what I want in Hexay. I don't think they would do it.
What was it?
I want the main character to be a lesbian.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like these games we've never got a good representation of an LGBTQ character besides Jacob or Cassandra, but those were just, one-sided things. What if we had like a story where the character's girlfriend is trialed as a witch and she gets killed for it, and then the girl revenges for her girlfriend and goes after the Templars? That's what I thought would be a nice story, because it works with the setting as well, of women as well being accused as witches, and then making them as lovers would make it more interesting to me, because it's like a love story. And I've seen stuff like that, and I kind of like love story with revenge,
Yeah. So I have a theory about Hex, and it's that there's no witches.
No witches.
There's no witches. My theory is that the witch trials are created by the Templars to exterminate the assassins publicly, and that's what these witch trials are about. They're not witches. They're murdering assassin families without any discrimination, and they can get away with it because they're hiding behind this premise of they're witches and they're dangerous. That's my theory. And then she manages to escape, and that's what is then we're going to jump into this character that is then having to deal with watching her family be brutally murdered for being witches when actually they were just assassins. And
that sounds like a bit of like Ezio's family, when they get persecuted. But I get that, but then I wouldn't mind if she was having, she was a lesbian. I don't know why I'm fixated on that. I just want a character that is different,
Yeah.
I just want someone who's different now. We've had a lot of characters, and I just want something unique.
Something different. Yeah.
Yeah. If they do it well,
My last question is, so we do this section on the podcast, which is pitching an Assassin's Creed game. So we've talked about a gunpowder plot. We've talked about the Black Plague. We've talked about Scotland
one.
Assassin's Creed. I want to know what your pitch for an Assassin's Creed game would look like. What's the setting? What would be what would be the motives for your?
This is a good one. I think we should do an Assassin's Creed setting set in British India, where the character is Indian and the Templars are British, and he goes after them because they've conquered India and he wants to get India free again. So I'm thinking taking place during where Britain invaded India, or they do it between the Indian East Company but East Company trade. So I'm either thinking 1700s or 1800s.
Ooh,
because
nice.
I still want to see that type of stuff. And not like near revolution, like American Revolution, but something about where it fights, racism against the British and the Indians. And you have these battles, because there was a lot of battles we had with the Indians and the British when Britain wanted to take over India in the 1850s. And we can see these types of things, and they can involve Templars and stuff, And I don't know, what type of, maybe just a normal assassin story, probably Altair type story, or the ones in the Chronicles.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So British India setting 1850s for me, because there was a lot of British Indian soldiers who would fight against the British. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That would be my dream AC game.
Oh, nice. So, why do you think that the British are really good at being the Templars? Because this has happened a few times now, hasn't it? And when I pitched my Scotland War of Independence Assassin's Creed game, it had the British as the English, should I say?
English.
As the Templars, and then we've got you've just pitched that the British invading India, so they would be they would be the Templars, and obviously Haytham is originally British,
Yeah.
so he would be a Templar. The AC3, they're all British.
British, Irish,
Yeah,
But I think it's the reason is because like British people are just known to play really good villains. Like
yeah.
they can play really good antagonists. So like they're more threatening. And what I've learned from the lore, that the British Templars are the most powerfulest Templars we've had in Assassin's Creed because of how they controlled like America and stuff, like how they managed to do a lot of stuff, and like
Yeah.
it was not just British as well, Irish as well, but they got a lot of recruitment from Ireland and America. Like they knew how to control the cities and stuff. They knew what to do and they knew how they wanted to succeed. But the thing is, the British Templars were never successful in India for some reason, and that's an interesting fact for me because like they could do that as a game, the British Templars against the Indians, but then that's not the point. The point is like these British Templars, you don't want to mess with them. Like again, Reginald Birch killed the master assassin Edward Kenway.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me because he was a master assassin who was trained, and yet he sent two mercenaries at him who were more powerful than Edward Kenway. And if someone could take down Edward Kenway, then wow.
Yeah.
He was a skilled fighter but lost to two mercenaries and managed to control, and Reginald Birch managed to control and manipulate Haven to become a Templar. He's not just a more powerful version than Edward was, but he's a much more of a skilled fighter, but much more intelligent than Edward was ever. And his intelligence through British America with Haven, that's why he succeeded so well. Like, I think, if I remember, from 1754, when Haytham left London for New York, the British Templars at least controlled America and some other parts of the place for like 20 or 30 years. So like they were really dominant,
Yeah.
And like, of course, until when Connor came around and taught them a lesson, but no, because they knew what they would do. They were very intelligent. They were very smart. They knew about a lot of things. They had assassin skills as well. Like Haytham had hidden blades, Shay had hidden blades, so they knew what to do. So they knew how to take care of business. So that's basically it. They were just more intelligent at that time, and if they kept going and stuff, they probably would have defeated the assassins and probably won over the country. They did. They did win over British America for the longest time. But of course, when Connor came around, everything went away. But you can't deny that. At that period, the Templars won. They won that battle for 30 years in British America. No one could have defeated them. They kicked out the colonial assassins and basically made their own thing. Like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And like, I get it, you got Thomas Deacon says, who had peace for 300 years in France, but that's different. We're also about the British assassins, because if there were more British Templars like Haytham, then the assassins would not stand a chance against anyone, because I feel like even Ezio would struggle against fighting Haytham,
Yeah, I think
he's much more skilled.
Might edge it out, but yeah, I think he would probably. I think he would struggle for sure.
Yeah.
So that is it. That's the end of the show. That's us. So how was that for you before we?
It was quite good. Like I got everything off my chest, and we talked about the controversies, we talked about the updates, we talked about Black Flag. We had a respectable conversation about Black Flag. No one was calling anyone bandwagons and stuff or anything.
or shills or
like
haters or whatever. Yeah,
I just think if I'm gonna end this off, I think my duty as a content creator, like anyone else, is that we stand up for stuff like this and we say something about it. But we're not going to be on their level and scope down to them. We're going to make them understand in a way where it's respectable and we don't criticize people. I love this community. I think this community is great, but there's people in this community that really do ruin it. And whenever people get involved, it just makes it worse. We're supposed to respect each other in this community. I get all communities have issues. We have types of this, but it's much worse on here because people are not educated on this stuff. People should play all these Assassin's Creed. They should respect at least all these characters. Even the best characters have their flaws.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
we should respect that. You can't just be gatekeeped on having one opinion and getting challenged and you block the person. That's not how it works. You're supposed to have a respectable community. I've built my community 3 years without stirring any pots. I've had debates with people, but I've blocked people because of personal reasons, not because of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Because that's the least of my worries. As a content creator who's been doing this for quite a while, I don't want this anymore. I don't want anyone to be criticized because they like a different game.
Yeah.
I just want people just to be happy on what they like. They can make all the ships they want. They can make the Shea Haytham ships. They can make any ships, any romantic ships, anything. They can make any art they want, anything that makes people happy. You can do whatever you want in this community as long as you are happy. You shouldn't care what anyone else says. If they are offending you or they're treating you horribly in this community, you block them and you just move on. You respect yourself in this community and everyone else who respects you. That's the takeaway. People who do rants, respect to them because they're putting themselves on their lines just to get their opinions out, and I respect them 100%, and more people should be like them.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I want us all to get along, and I want everybody to. There's one thing standing here and going, you're a shill, you're a hater, you're this, you're that. But actually, if we sit down and we have a conversation and a debate about this, we can find out so much more and it's so much nicer than if we just shouted at each other. Like, you love Black Flag.
Yeah.
And as everybody knows, I don't like Black Flag. And this could have been a completely, like, you could have been like, right, I know that he doesn't like Black Flag, so we're going to have it out. But actually, by having a conversation with each other, we can come to a mutual respect of, you can like it, I can dislike it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to change.
Because I feel like people were going to come to this live and me and you would just be debating about Black Flag and stuff. But
So-
like, no.
I had a lot of people be like, "All right, it's gonna pop off between
escalate." But like,
you
no,
guys,
it's just a casual debate, and like, I get it. People are gonna think, "Oh my god, they're debating. We're gonna clip it." We don't care about you guys clip it or not. We're just gonna have a respectful debate because we're content creators and we like talking about Assassin's Creed. Not everything has to end in drama and has to end up on YouTube somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Also,
oh my god, James and Arav are fighting over video games. It's just silly. Do you know what I mean? Like,
see, it's like, because like I've got to a point where I just be like, I don't care if people have a different opinion to me, as long as they respect me and respect my opinion, then we're fine.
like, Marcel, have you just given? I haven't watched Night 2, so if there is any wrestling talk in this conversation, can we not? Because I need to watch Night 2.
Don't spoil WrestleMania.
Yeah, don't spoil WrestleMania Night 2 for me.
No,
please.
no. Stop.
That's all I'm asking.
Shush.
That's all I'm
I need
asking.
to know who wins. I was disappointed with Night 1, actually, though.
I liked the woman's fatal 4-way tag match.
Yeah, Paige came back, didn't she?
Paige came back. It actually got me out of my seat. So
the problem is those matches were too short for the women. Like those matches were like 6 to 8 minutes long. But like it wasn't no matches. But I feel like that this was the worst WrestleMania I've watched in quite a while.
So I just felt like I was watching adverts. Like literally, I just felt like it was an advert every 30 seconds. It was so bad.
Yeah, but I hope Night 2 is better though.
I'm going to watch Night 2 with my daughter. So
yes, that's so cool.
So hopefully, but guys, that is the end of the show. All I need to do is do the closing statement, and it's been great having you all here. So guys, we are ranked on Google. You can find tons of episodes and clips on YouTube and Spotify, and you can find clips on TikTok. One way that you can support the show is by rating us on Spotify. If you just search for Rally the Creed, you'll find it. You can rate us, comment, whatever you need to do. On YouTube as well, we will interact with all comments, all interactions. I want to say thank you to Arav, my guest. I appreciate having you here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and we've been talking for nearly 3 hours. So it's been great. I said to you it's going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, but it's fantastic.
It was good though. I'm grateful that I was here to share my opinion and get stuff off my chest.
Good. And guys, if you want to get in touch with us, you can also go to the Ones Who Came Before website, and you can go to the contact page, which is in the top right-hand corner. But also a massive announcement for next week's show. On next week's show, I don't actually have a guest, but in preparation for a possible Black Flag release, I will be sitting and playing Black Flag with you guys. So come on over next week and you can see me play one of my least favorite Assassin's Creed games, and you can all have fun at my expense. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. So again, I want to say a massive thank you for everyone listening. Also, thank you for all of the follows, all of the gifts. I appreciate it. Before we go, can you just tell everybody where they can find you?
So you can find me, Arav Ghostus Creed, on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The same type of name, same type of username everywhere. And yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, and I'll see you again.
So on that note, guys, good night.